Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers. We're here. It's Monday. Holy mackerel, it's Monday already. It's cold out. The wind chill is 21 degrees here at World Headquarters in Lafayette, Indiana. Winds blowing to 40 miles an hour. That's not great. But we're still trucking. I-11 is coming too. Are you going to drive on it whenever they open it? Company drivers want what? Company says what? They did another study. Yet another study. Is this true? Eyes on 94. Police are going to be out patrolling. We'll talk about where that's going to be this week, starting already right now. Actual miles versus practical miles. When a company says, we pay you all the miles you drive, and then it says practical miles, do they even know what they're talking about? The average used truck price went to over $72,000. Crazy, up almost $25,000 from a year ago. Wow. And our regular stocks, fuel, and crypto prices. And that is what is happening here. Let's see if I can do this correctly today. Hopefully, the clickers work. There's one, and let's see if I can do all this. All right, and we were ready. JJ was first the other day, but today, George H.W. Bush is first, and I appreciate the president being here. Ansel and Penelope, Rain Blossom Smith, one of the longest names on YouTube. I appreciate it. It's cold out. Yeah, to roll a wiener with all the shrinkage, no doubt. With that kind of wind chill, you don't want your wiener out in that cold air. Yikes. The grumpy trucker is here. What's happening? George Wilson. Yeah, George Costanza knows all about shrinkage. It's shrinkage. Joan Harper is here, but not first. So close, though. So close. Got to get in early. People learn on Wednesday. Roger Penske. What's going on? James Morrow is in Tampa where it's 73 and is instantly banned for that comment as inappropriate. Kelly Patterson. Good morning from Salt Lake City where it's not 73 degrees. Million milers here. And Stan Dodge, what's happening? Let's see. Start your day the Ozark way. Yeah. Remember when they used that little catchphrase? Yeah, kind of. I thought it was Folgers, though. The Ozark way with 5 points of moonshine. Yeah, yikes. That's crazy. Chris D, hey, Gracie says hello, too. She was just walking around. I don't know what she's doing. She's on patrol, I think. Let's see. Cats see themselves as noble and graceful with dignity, but they look at dogs and see clumsy, noisy buffoons. Don't we all, though, George Wilson? Cats are very noble. Well, they want you to feed them. Not late again. Hey, 29 on my screen here. I guess hair and makeup is taking longer. It does. I mean, yikes. As you get older, it takes quite a while. And that's how I feel when I see Swift or Western Express parking near me. That's very good. Hello from my couch in rainy North Alabama chicken holler. What's going on with that on the couch today? And yo, Fast Joe Corrigan, what's happening? Luke, my work made me do a 45-mile detour to pick up 2 return pallets because the guy was supposed to do it ran out of diesel. And I wondered, how do you do that? Do some trucks not come with a little gauge thing on there that tells you where the diesel is? And the first time I get a truck, I always go fill it up because I want to see versus the gauge how much fuel it takes. And then as the gauge goes down. So that when I get a truck I've never driven, that's the first thing I do is fill it up to see. Because I don't want to run out. Hello from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Joe, what's going on? Someday the beard will be gone. Let's not hope for that. Don't tell me I'll have to shave every day. What is this, TMC? Get the grill ready. Yeah, we're going to have to really heat it up just to stay warm out there today. Acceleration Rules is here. Great, Mark. After all that's happening with a brakeless trailer and a junky tractor, you would say they're a crap company. Yeah, I don't recommend people work here. But the pay is really low for people that start. Once you're here a while and you can get a short run, that's one thing. But starting, no. I wouldn't start here. No. Crying with Cooper, it's all my fault for what? Paladin, it's only 64 today. Also banned like our Tampa person. Anybody where it's over 40 degrees can be banned. 64. Al Johns is here. What's happening down there? It should be warmer down there. Let's make a manhole version of the 12 Days of Christmas. Chris 76. Oh, that's good. What would you get on those days? Wow. My true love gave to me. Wow. That's something. Those prices are insane. What prices are insane? Where are the prices insane? Everywhere, really. You are the Andy Rooney podcast when it comes to where we're not on Mars. Paul Harris, well, look, I'll take it. I remember growing up watching Andy Rooney. Probably one of the only, high schoolers and earlier that would watch 60 Minutes every week on Sundays. I'm Dan Rather. Was Dan Rather? No, I can't remember. I'm Maury. Boy, I can't remember their names. Wow. I do remember Andy Rooney. I'll take it. George Costanza just delivered an Ogden, and my student is driving to Tull, Utah, picking up roofing shingles. Headed to San Antonio. I'll take that. At Mountain, we went from San Antonio to Ohio, and then to Utah, and back to San Antonio. That's the way to do it. I never got those kind of miles on a flatbed. Never. Never went west of the Mississippi River in a flatbed, really. All east. How you're getting those long west loads, that's awesome. On flatbeds, it was always you had to go refrigerated to get those kind of miles. The manholder's always a bun to keep your wiener warm. That's true. Steamed sometimes. Joe, did you hear the Canadian company that's paying down their drivers $7,800 to get the vaccine? No way. Really? Amazing the company for money to pay drivers once the U.S. said no to unvaccinated. $7,800? Is that going to happen here too? Where did you see that? I mean, I didn't see that hit the news at all. Wow. Would that get anybody to get it? 78. Is that all in one time too? George, shrinkage like a frightened turtle. Oh, that's right. That is what he said. Right. That's good. Oh, those were the days. Eddie McFadness here. Hello. Freddie in Tampa also banned people from Tampa. Did you hear about the woman that was breastfeeding her cat? I did. And the picture they had was a hairless cat. And I can't imagine the cat would do that. So you got enough problems just getting the cat to do anything you want it to do. So I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe. But they did have a picture that was a hairless cat. Which they're kind of weird looking. So, how many more days till Festivus? You know, I didn't look that up, how many days that is. 20? No, not even 20 days. 15, 18 days? I got to look that up. Hey, Mark. First time tuning in live. D Burst 1. Well, hello there. Welcome. It's every Monday at 12:30 p.m. Coaches Eastern. Coaches Twisted Mud Flap service lasted 3 weeks. Well, hey, somebody's got to last there. Are you still holding Shiba Inu? Oh, sure. It's down today. It's what, 34 or something like that? I didn't look that one up. Dogecoin is 17. Yeah, we're just going to hold it and hope for the best. You know, if it goes to $1, like they said, boy, we got it. If not, yeah, so you lose a few $100s. It's people do that playing the lottery. You could go to zero. At least you could sell this and get some back. That's the way I see it. And certainly don't listen to me about that stuff. Look into it. But for a few bucks, put $5 a week into something and see what happens. You never know what'll happen. Paul Harris in the Carolinas today, heading to Memphis today or tomorrow. Oh, don't stop in West Memphis. Did I move yet? Oh, no way. I move. There's nothing. There's no good places in the area. How long did it take you to get the air leak fixed? I didn't take that truck. I left that truck. It's still, well, I'll be honest with you, they probably gave it to somebody else. I got another truck, which I then had to have service come out and fix that truck, because the fifth wheel wouldn't detach. So had to have them come out and do that. I couldn't get it unhooked. And they didn't, it was just a big problem. It wouldn't unhook. The guy had to go do some tools in there. He goes, oh yeah, we just put this on like 2 days ago. He goes, I don't know what's wrong with He's doing a bunch of stuff with tools and stuff and gets it to unclick. So I got a different truck. They probably gave that truck to somebody else. I'm at my second week with Smith Transport. All right, so far so good. Got 1,000 orientation. That is the pay, right? A new 389 with an 8-speed manual. 8-speed manual? Really? And $1,800 a week is real. Did 2,200 miles. And they're going to pay $1,800 for that, right? Because they have a guarantee. If you're on it, I don't exactly know how to get the guarantee there, but they do guarantee $1,800 a week on some things that they do. I didn't know they had 8-speed manuals, but hey, I don't buy the trucks. And if you're a company driver, good enough, right? That's all right. I'll take it. So that's pretty awesome. Oh, your old backyard is in Memphis. Yeah, that's true, but not West Memphis. Big blitz on I-94 from Illinois to Michigan. Please be advised, they're looking for trucking violations. Yes. In fact, the blitz is called Eyes on 94. Okay, they give it a name. Isn't that clever? But wait a minute. But wait, there's more. If you sign up for the blitz right now, they're going to do, get this, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio are part of the I-94 blitz. And I read that and I'm like, what? So I look at another source in the articles, it's the same thing. So I looked at a map. I'm like, am I just stupid? Do I not understand how roads work? Turns out I-94 does not go in Ohio, but they're part of the I-94 blitz. And it said they're going to help traffic, with traffic on I-94. So because of all the accidents, especially in Michigan that they have in the wintertime. So the Eyes on 94, very clever, state police in those 4 states will be patrolling, apparently, I-94 to keep it safe this week. Starts today. It's already in effect. Your toilet was first. I didn't get that right. 70 degrees that's south of the border. Oh, right. You never saw such a place. I love those signs. You probably don't have them up now. Somebody probably got offended by them. Oh, right. The new truck. Oh, yeah. The used truck prices are $72,204 for used trucks. Isn't that crazy right now? Oh, my gosh. For used. Last year at this time, they commented $46,713. Huh. First day of Christmas, one manhole ticket. Oh, one free entrance. I will be arrested in Lafayette on the 17th. They're buying me a Pepe's or Charlie's. Pepe's, right. Right, nice. Well, welcome to Lafayette, Indiana. You're going to love it here. You're going to love the way you look here. Don't forget to get your City Bus tokens. Yeah, we'll have to meet up somewhere. And I lost my spot. Oh, south of the border, right. There we go. Truckers coach tire expert. GP glad. Is GP glad that they quit? I don't know what all happened over there. He never really said, I thought they kind of left amicably, but I'm not in on all the HR of the place for sure. Yeah, it's 72 in Gulfport. Nice. You're in with the Tampa people. What the heck? Morley Schaefer, that was right. Morley Schaefer was one of the guys. I thought Maury, right? Morley Schaefer. I think Dan Rather was on it, right? I'm Dan Rather. I'm Morley Schaefer. And Andy Rooney. There were always 3 or 4 people, though. What's your opinion on the driver that dragged the car for several miles he claimed he did not know? George Wilson. I saw that video. And how do you not know? Are we not at least looking in our mirrors? And it seems like that would kind of put a drag on the truck. Like, wow, what is slowing me down here, Is this one of these dual torque Cummins engines? Yeah, jail. That'd be my opinion, jail. Because, come on, how do you not know you're dragging a car around? Me and Marla got the Pfizer booster the day after Turkey Day. All right. Did you have any problems with it? I'm just curious. That won't be till spring. I won't even be available to that till spring. So that's good. And New York City's got a mandate coming up. Did you all see that? That just came out. Breaking news. Breaking news. New York City employers. So only if you work in New York City as an employee of New York City. Every company has to have a shot, the first shot by December 27th, including trucking. Fast Joe, no shot for this young man in his extreme upper 30s. That's awesome. That's how it should be if you want. So even at $7,800, that's curious, right, Al Johns? So what if it was $7,800 on your next check? Asian Maestro, the company about the Canadian company. Really? Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that guy. So that's probably true then, because most of the stuff he puts out I would think is true. So I would believe it then. That's amazing. $7,000. They got money for that? Like Stewie says, right? You got money for fake glasses, but you got money to pay me, right? That's what they should say to this guy. You have $7,800 to pay for this, but you don't have $7,800 to raise pay. If you wear it, make it a parrot always. Please put something on your head. It's cold out today. That'll cover one of your ears up. So if you had like the dual parrot, you could wear it outside and have both ears covered, but not while you're driving. She wants to breastfeed in her cat. That's fine by me. I don't care. It just seems weird. I don't think people should be, taking their cat out like that. What if it got away? It just seems unusual. Newport Richie, where's that? That's not a place I'm going to be at. December 23rd, so 17 days. Yeah, it's less than 3 weeks. We're almost here. Something outdoors, first they ask you, then they bribe you, ultimately they force you. For the people that won't do it, of course, because that's how it works. I'm just curious if $7,800 would motivate everyone, not the little $50 to $150 I see here, maybe $200 at some places. Made $20 so far on CRO. What is that another token? I'm no token expert or whatever. Just grabbed a few of them and thought, let's just see what happens. Asian I also showed a guy holding a lizard 8 months in his truck and his 18-year-old daughter. That's true. Wait a minute. Before I think about this, what are we exactly talking about? I saw a couple of different things like this. So which one is that? My girlfriend is a hairless cat of sorts, Roger Penske. Oh, really? That's pretty interesting. That's another Family Guy thing. Who let the gardener go? If we remember that. Company name is Fuel Transport out of Canada. $7,800. Now, would that owner operators or is that for company drivers? So are company drivers getting $7,800 or owner operators or both or neither? On the first day of Christmas, take a look at me, a level 1 from the DOT. Oh, we could do that. On the second day of Christmas, A bad Subway sandwich and a level from the DOT. Okay, yeah, we can get all 12 of these. I got boosted on Wednesday, but not at the manhole. Well, you can get your shots there at the manhole. They always have shot day where anybody coming in can get a free shot. I'm getting tired of crushing truckers' hopes and dreams. I've grown tired, bored with being the fickle finger of fate in another person's life. It seems like you would love that. People would enjoy the power where just at like the flick of your hand, you can ruin their whole life. I mean, just the power involved in that, it seems really good, doesn't it? Like, you're done. Just like that. And you've just ruined someone's whole lives. Maybe their kids can't even get presents or whatever, just on your say-so. It seems like there's a lot of power in that. It would seem like it would be just great, really. George Costanza did 2,971 paid miles. Wow. Set up for another 2,700 this week. Got a reset in Salt Lake City. Everybody's in Salt Lake City. Got to see the Temple Square. It was mid-50s and sunny. Mormons are friendly. That is true. Most people really, though, around the country are friendly. Just a few outliers. That's great. You know, the time off, go see stuff. Yeah. That's some good miles. Flatbed, too. You're doing way more miles than I ever got, too. Joan Harper, my home is for sale again. Oh, there's a place. I could go there. You're closer to Louisville, though. Selena, and I lost that spot. Oh, Michigan, great roads. Yeah, they're going to be patrolling 94, though, on all these wonderful roads. Some of the best roads in the country, Michigan, right after Indiana. Ohio, Highway 94. I don't know why they connected Ohio in this. With these four states are like, Ohio, they probably were meeting. I imagine then there's a guy from Ohio sitting in the corner. And they're like, should we let him in? Yeah, all right, come here. And he's like, oh, running over there. Or I get to be part of it. You know, so Ohio's in on it too. That's how I figure it was at the meeting. Jack Decker joined, maybe owner of Decker Transport, joined Merck's Global for 2 days. Quit because a recruiter repeatedly lied and I had integrity not to settle for crap. Sent you an email about it. All right, I'll check that out. Merck's Global sounds like somewhere out of Chicago, to be honest with you. To get the $1,800, you need to be out 2 weeks and can't refuse unless it interferes with home time. Loads can't be late for pickup or delivery unless you have a non-preventable issue. Okay, I knew there's a couple of catches on it, and it's 2 weeks. So as long as you're out 2 weeks, they'll guarantee you $1,800, and it doesn't matter how many miles they give you. So meaning if you get less miles, I know there's another driver on here sometimes that drives there and got $1,800 for 1,200 miles 1 week, and I thought that's pretty good for a company driver. $150, $160, not bad. As far as the blood goes, keep your truck trailer logs in good shape and you have nothing to worry about. All right, Kelly. I will keep that in mind. The only issue I had was my arm was sore for the day. So, all right. So like a lot of people, that's good. That's good. Is this just at a regular pharmacy too? Are they giving those everywhere? At Diane Sawyer, that's right. Mike Wallace, Ed Bradley. Oh, George Wilson. Yeah, somebody else remembers this. Were you watching this in school too? I would watch this in school. I was probably the only kid that would watch these kind of shows like 60 Minutes. And Monty Python, so still no job here. I sent a few places over there for you to check out. I didn't know if those would work out. Not only note to the shop. Yeah, exactly. Forget all that. And Joan Harper, where do I work? For now, they keep me. I don't know why they keep me any day there. I love aggravating them. But, I just don't say where I work. It just keeps them out of the videos. And they have no say on what I say here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do my little vignettes of them. And I also don't recruit for them. And if you want to recruit for your company, go ahead. But then be careful what you say, online, because it can be a real problem. So that's how we do it here. Those people are trying to make us get the shot. It shouldn't be mandatory. Yeah, that is true. It shouldn't be mandatory. I agree. It should be up to you. Those things should always ultimately be up to the person. If you want it, get it. If not, don't get it. But eventually it's going to spread. Now, New York City, of course, will be sued immediately, I think, to stop it. De Blasio's out of office at the end of the month. The nationwide mandate is still in the courts, and there's no way they can mandate that now by January 4th. Anyways, I don't think if they turn it up, because that's less than a month away, and they're going to need to give people time. So I think it gets moved back as it is. So, yes. Where are all the super chats? I don't ask for super chats, believe me. I appreciate it, but not asked for. So the show's free and no ads on the live show. I bought a parrot and I love it. Isn't it? Listen, blue parrot, even though they've sent me many of them or whatever, I always had blue parrots and I love blue parrot. And they don't pay me to say any of this stuff. I just love them. I think they're the best headset going. They last a long time. You could stand in front of the truck while it's running. Nobody can hear you. well, nobody can hear the truck. They hear you, meaning they can't hear the truck. So that's why they don't pay me to say this, apparently, because I don't know what I'm talking about. They're great headsets. Go try one out. Harry Reasoner. That's right. Harry Reasoner, right? They went through a few people. Always Andy Rooney. Always Andy Rooney on the at the show, which was always great. I love that show. Being compared to him is a big great for me. I love it. Oh, goodness. George Costanza, thank you very much. Melton, $100 per tarp pay. Yeah. Comfy leather seats, which are nice. If you don't like leather, look, get a leather seat in your car. You're going to love it. Fridge and see all 48 states. So unusual on a flatbed. I'm happy with where you are. Come and give Melton a chance. Yeah, how about here's their phone number right here. Why don't you give them a call right now? There's Melton right there. Get out of the truck, do some work, and give Melton a call. Look, it's flatbed, let's be honest, and it is work. And you're going to get paid for it, though. $100 to tarp the truck? We just tarped it because you had to tarp it. My girlfriend is a pot-belly pig and gets along very well with her cat. Really? I don't know. This cat won't even get along with another cat, so I don't know how that would go with a pig. Steel horse, yeah, hot dog. It's hot dog day. You're going to need a couple of them today because of the wind chill. So keep the wieners out of the wind today. They're going to get cold fast. They can vax the world, but they can't feed the hungry. Yeah, they got time to do this, though. Well, we also have to have time to kill each other. So we got to figure out how to make more weapons to kill each other rather than working on problems. Also, I always thought that my whole life. You know, we spend all this money on killing each other. What's a better weapon we can make? How about figuring out how to solve, cure cancer and stuff like that with all that money? That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Parrot just bit my ear. You got to be careful about that. It has a parrot button on it, which you can configure through the app. So keep that in mind. The only shot I was a shot of liquor. Yeah, I'll take a shot of liquor and the shot. I tell them one before the other. But the Asian My Show doesn't have the dirt pit down below. Leave your comments, Dan Dodge. Does he not open up comments? Oh, he's got to have his comments open down there. Really? Why doesn't he have comments running? Asian My Show, the Lizard and Daughter segment this morning. Yeah, I don't know. Is this what exactly are we talking about here? Must have a vax or wear a mask. It depends where you go, right? So it just depends where you're going. Still nothing at Meyer. So that was always how it worked last year. Once Meyer was in, I thought, oh, now we're done. Although no toilet paper at Meyer still. The vast majority of people I've run across my travels are very friendly. Kelly, aren't most people friendly? Let's be honest. You just get a few weirdos. But basically, if you're nice to people, they're pretty friendly to you. Shippers, receivers, everywhere. Pretty much. I saw a CR England trainer training a trainer who was training a student. Wow. And there's still 3 people in the truck. Trainer. Do they have a patch like that says, I trained the trainers that trained the world? They just started giving people 60% below poverty level, 500 buckaroos a month. Who's they? Smith Transport even paid $20 during orientation to drive the new recruitment van to and from the hotel. Really? I'd drive that for free because we're going to do a bunch of burnouts in it and see how it does. Toledo's any rental or anything I'm in. Toledo's my favorite town in Ohio. I used to deliver tires there. Oh, right. I always like that gigantic tire on the way to Detroit, too. That was always on the side of the road. Starbucks is hiring $16.50. If you work part-time, you would be above poverty. Here, I don't know what the Starbucks is paying, but the places I go, Burger King yesterday said $13.70. Because I get the wife Burger King on Sunday mornings. Biscuits. And they're $13.70, hiring immediately. So that's pretty good. Oh, in Providence. So is it just the state of Rhode Island giving people $500? Because I haven't heard that nationwide. I have had the recent opportunity to speak with Wild Bill Anderson a few times. On the phone, cool driver, we're going to try to meet up. Yeah. He came to a live... I was live in Gary a couple of Christmases ago at the Flying J because it was so warm. So I went over there and did live out of the back of the car, and he came out there. Super cool. Also saw him at the truck show. Speaking of the truck show, Mid-America Truck Show, tickets are available. So look up the Mid-America Truck Show. You can go get your tickets free. Just sign up there. They'll send you tickets in March for however many you want. They don't cost anything, and I hope to see everybody at the end of March in Louisville at the truck show. No charge for the tickets. Another driver at Smith Transport told me if you exceed the mileage over $1,800, they pay on top. Yeah, it's kind of like a minimum almost, even though they say it's a guarantee. It's really like a minimum that you'll make, which I guess is a guarantee. So if you do make more than that, they do pay you the difference. So if you make 19, you would make 19. But if you made 17, you make 18. So you're going to make the 93,000 or whatever at least, as long as you work every week. I knew it, Jack. Matt Merckx is out of Chicago with headquarters in Bulgaria. Nice. I don't think they're on my list of countries yet for the podcast. Maybe we should have them listen to the podcast. Trucker Lee Pops, how you been? Doing good. Trying to get these kids off my lawn. Mark just rolls away. That's how it works. Truckers Coach Tire Expert. Did I buy the Vet? No, I did not buy that Corvette. On Sunday, I generally have a car at the beginning of the video because I'm out looking at cars. That Corvette is a 2021. It was bought new in June, and it is $97,000 used. So, since the MSRP on a new Corvette is $65,000 for that car, I'm not paying $30 over sticker for a used car. No, that was crazy. The thing was waist high. I've never seen one of the new ones, the mid-engine ones, which is with that one. The roof of the car is my waist. That's it. It's super low. I don't even know if I could ever get out of it if I ever got back in it. So no way. Getting the shop would be the right thing to do. All right. That's fair enough. I enjoyed the recent crap one of the week. Make that a series. I do. I have another one taped, and a couple of people have sent me other ads. So there'll be more of those ads. Just weird ads that I find like that. Leo's Madness. Hey, Monday. Hey, it's great. It's Monday. Hey, Mark. Hey, what's going on? Told the DOT my name is Biggest Dickus, and he got level 0 inspection. Not Mel Brooks fans, apparently. Good afternoon, Market Trucking Interest fans. Keep on trucking. Wilbon, hey, it's good to see you here. Million Miler, when I get pulled over, I speak German, and they leave me alone. Oh, that's not bad, except you're going to get that one cop that says, hey, you're supposed to speak English. George Costanza just converted to Wieners. Convert everybody. I got a leather seat in my Focus. Still rides like crap. 6 to the road. Good. Hell, John, do you have a Focus with a leather seat? Oh, I guess we had them, right? That 16 we had leather seats in it. So yeah, okay. Yeah, always get the leather upgrade. Heated leather. What was your opinion on JP Transco when you went to talk to them? I like the place at JP Transco. I talked to a lot of people in the office too, in the back office and that. And look, the place it's all laid back. If you want a place to drive, at least this was my impression, and from the people I talked to that work there. If you want a place to drive that just basically leaves you alone to do your job, here's the job, and you can go do it on your own. Oh, that's the place to go, where you're going to make money, get a nice equipment, get paid well, and be treated like a driver. Like, hey, this guy knows what he's doing, or this person, before I get in trouble again. And they're just going to let you do your job. And that's the impression I got of the place. Very low-key. Even though big place, 500 and some trucks, that's not a small place, all right? But still, low-key, just go do your job, and that's it. And, of course, there's rules. Mark, what about this? And that? You're a company driver. There are some weird rules everywhere. I might have misunderstood you. Did you say we should tarp for free? No, I said I used to tarp for free. When I drove a flatbed, which is in the 80s, okay, over the road, you didn't get paid to tarp. They were just part of your job to tarp. Now it's $100 to tarp the load at some places like Melton. And I think that's pretty good. You shouldn't get paid. You shouldn't do it free. No. I might have misunderstood you. Let's see. How many people miss the days when your windows rolled up and down pneumatically? It seems like it takes 45 seconds to go up and down. Well, you need to, I have a video about this, but I should show that again. You spray silicone spray in the window tracks. I do it in my cars and the truck as well, in the track of the window, and roll the window up and down, and that lubricates it. You should do that a couple of times a year. I'll do another video about that on how to do it. I've always done it in cars with power windows, and it works great. It keeps the windows lubricated so they go up and down smoothly and keeps that track cleaned out. South Carolina had a wind chill of 76 today, I'm sure. Maybe you got a tan too. I've never gotten the app to work. Which app is that? Where am I? Where did I miss on that? My parents used to get me to watch 60 Minutes with them because they told it's good to be informed. Yeah, I watched it all week. They didn't like it. They're like, what are we doing? I'm like, it's 60 Minutes. CBS, Channel 2, Chicago. Blue Parrot, lovely plumage. He's just sleeping. Why do so many people drive over the road when local companies are paying $30 an hour? Some people enjoy it. Some people live in the truck, which over the road then, I mean, there's probably no better way to make money, especially unless you're a doctor, right, without a degree, than living in a truck over the road, see the whole country, and make 100, 120,000 with no bills. Isn't that great? Boy, wouldn't it be great if we actually had done that? That was my plan, never did it. Depends on which grocery store you're going to. I only go to Meijer. One reason I can think of people is living in the middle of nowhere. Okay, if you live in the East Armpit, you should move, though. You shouldn't live in the middle of no place because it costs you so much more over your lifetime, I think, unless you are, self-independent where you don't need to go to work somewhere. Did everyone hit the like button, Al Johns? They're probably all too cold for that today, the wind chill. Over the road pays more, still horse. Nah, it depends. It depends what you're doing. All right, like right now we're running, if you run the haul fuel in Indianapolis, it's $35 an hour plus overtime. 70 hours, that's $2,500 a week, home every day. So it just depends where you want to work, what you want to do. Paper mass, when does the paper stop anything? Well, the Constitution has made it paper, doesn't stop a thing. That is great. That's a great line. That's true. The paper mass, I never thought the mass actually did anything. And if anything, they do very little. So I think that's all just for show. Who's they? Yeah, who is they? Right, exactly. Who's giving out this $500? The president? I don't think so. It's not a nationwide thing. So this isn't, this isn't a Biden thing. There is not any $500 for people that I know of under 60% of the poverty line. I never heard that. I'll go drive down to downtown and ask the people in the boxes if they're getting $500. Instead of I'll go ask the guy at Meyer. There's a guy, now he hasn't been out lately because it's colder. But in the summer, he stands out at Meyer with a sign that he's willing to do anything. I'll work anywhere for money. And apparently not Meyer, which has a big sign. But I'll ask that guy. Instead of spending millions to go to the space looking for another planet to live on, how about we spend that money trying to save life on this planet? Well, that's the problem. It's hopeless here. That's why I want to go live on Mars. So, but I can't. Dayton, Ohio, was that the big tire on 75? I thought it seems like going into Detroit, there was a tire on 94. I did it. I appreciate it. Wieners never shrink at the manhole. Well, it's always nice and warm in the manhole. Opening up Let's Go Brandon Stories. I wonder what channel that will be on. That'll probably make an interesting YouTube channel till it got taken down. What's going on today, everybody? What's today's topic? Lots of different stuff going on today. You going to be on I-11 when they open it up? Just the city of Providence. Okay, so Providence is giving out $500 as a trial. Is this the Andrew Yang kind of program of, free money? I forget how he worded it. How it goes will be expanded to the rest of the state. Just give people money and see what happens. $500 is not really that life-changing, though, really. I guess it would pay part of your rent or whatever you're doing. That's not bad over at Smith. No, look, for $93,000 guarantee, I don't think that's terrible money. And if you make more, they give you the more. If not, you get $1,800. I don't think that's too bad. I do think it should pay more. I think over the road should pay, well into 3 digits based on what it used to pay. But for today, that's better than a lot of places. Better than some. I mean, look, that load that I showed, that ad, was paying 43 cents a mile. $1,400 a week for 3,200 miles a week. That is horrible. I mean, at Smith, that would pay way more than that. Oh, hey, everybody. Hey, Fleet Nav Systems is here. What do you know about that? What's going on? It's got to be really cold up there. Wow, they're the Geotab experts, and they're frozen in their building right now. So they'll be working 24/7 probably until spring. So it's good to see you. Coach's Twisted Milk Flap serves free lunch every Friday at GP Transco. I did not know that. Is that true? I was there on a Monday. He didn't tell me that. I would have come on Friday to get free food. So that's even better. Although I wouldn't change companies for that. If you have an ELD question for 15 minutes, and they will try to answer your ELD questions. You should do an interview of Hurricane Express talking to them. Sounds like a scam. They advertise $1,900 for an owner-operator. And there's no way it's worth that at $1,900 to be an owner-operator. No way. You need to make way more than that when we're doing $1,800 over at Smith to be a company driver. So for $100, no, that's not near worth it. Owner operator, I think, should be $3 now, at least. Is Judge Judy a member of the ATA? I don't know. Why would she be a member of the ATA? Hey, Mark, who do you think about this job offer I got? This guy said 3,500 miles a week averaging. He's going to pay me through Cash App. Nice. I think you're not going to get paid. And so no way. Nice. Don't worry. I'll Cash App you the money. He's scamming the IRS, much less you, although it's not illegal to get paid on Cash App. How much is he going to pay? Look, let's ask this. How much is he going to pay for 3,500 miles? I mean, that should be, if Smith will give you $1,800 up for no matter what, it should be well into the 70 cents. 1099's got to be 80 cents. That's $2,900 a week, I would expect. $2,800 a week would be 80 cents, maybe then for 80 cents. Who pays for the Depend underwear? Well, that could be part of the $500. Something outdoors. Imagine spending 34 hours on a beach in Florida or West Coast or mountain hiking. You can't do that locally. Right. There are those kind of benefits. If your company, not all companies will do this. If your company will let you take a break and leave the truck and go somewhere, there's that. You could see the country. There's a lot of different reasons to be on the road, and not everything is just money. Or I wouldn't work here. I don't, like I always say, I don't make as much money as probably most people on the channel because I don't work that much here. So it can't just be money. Here, the ATA, that's this week, right? They did a survey of company drivers and owner-operators. The number one thing for company drivers is job security, according to their survey. Then number two is income. The number one thing for owner-operators was independence, and then the ability to pick their own loads. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But the number one thing, according to them, is job security. I don't know if that's true or not. Can't wait till it gets so cold when you take a whiz to turn to snow instantly. Wow, freezes all the way right up. How do you spell doubting map when other countries that made masks mandatory have lower infections? Well, if that's true, then Japan should have never gotten an infection. They've worn masks in Japan for years, just as a matter of their daily walking around. You know, that's always been a thing. If you ever visited Japan over the years, most of the people are masked up almost all the time there. So Monday you can be in Maine and Friday and be in Washington, something outdoors. They're seeing the country. There's a lot of that. Giving people free money will only make them poorer. Oh, that's how it works. When people get something free, they don't appreciate it. What do you know about that? That is so true, right? When people pay, they pay attention. When people have to work for something, they respect what they're doing for it. And there's no job that people shouldn't do. I'm always curious about that. If people need money, there's a job open, you have to go take that job. If you don't need the money and don't want to work, I get that. But people cannot sit around and take money when there's jobs available. You have to work. Greetings, drivers. Just joining from rainy Portland, Oregon. At least it's not snowing. The Uniroyal tire on 94 is outside Detroit. All right, I knew there was a tire out there. The Tigers, George H.W. Bush. If I was an Ohio trooper, I'd volunteer to watch that Ohio 94 traffic. You know, I just don't understand it. I'm reading it. I'm like, have I forgotten everything? And then I actually looked at the map to see if I had gone crazy and gone into some bizarro world. It turns out, no, I-94 doesn't go into Ohio because they said in the article I-94. And I'm like, why is Ohio in this? They're like, wow, we're not getting a lot of traffic on this 94 here. I just hauled a load of red dye diesel to a plant that mixes it with ammonium nitrate, makes explosives. I thought it was going to a farm aviator trucker. Wow. Really? How we make explosives out of it? Wow. Isn't that American Tire Distributors on 94? Heck, they could have changed names by now. Hot and windy in upstate New York, rain and snow on the way. I saw that it's going to snow up that way, and higher northern elevations, basically, we're going to get some lake effect. Is getting a lot lizard considered on-duty, sleeper berth, or off-duty? Well, here's the thing. For them, they would have to log that on-duty. But you would log any time resting or being in the sleeper berth, that sleeper berth time. So they would log that as on-duty, not driving, depending who's driving. James Morrow, do you think the Nigerian download of your podcast could have possibly been the prince that did make you an offer? Oh, maybe it's that guy. That's true, because I did get an email from a prince that said if I just simply sent him my social security number and banking information, that he would gladly pay me money because he's trying to get it out of his country. And so that's where he got a hold of me. Oh, he goes, this guy sounds legit. Oh, that's a possibility. Joan Harper, I really kind of sit out the winter. I wish I could sit out the winter. I will say that if it's bad, you should stop driving. If you're a company driver, should have a policy that says you can stop driving without them giving you any grief. And from what I've heard over the years now, most companies do not give drivers grief about it, which is good. If you stop, they're pretty much good about it now. I don't think they should make you chain, even if you have chains. Does anyone under 80 know 60 Minutes? Yes. My granny used to watch that in Lawrence Welk, and she's dead for 35 years. I may have watched the Lawrence Welk show. Right, I will say that. And Liberace, what a great show. Guy could play the piano. All right, and 60 Minutes. As a kid, I watched that show, 60 Minutes. I'm probably one of the few kids that was watching the show. Akis, please read this chat. I'm reading it. I read it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see, where did this go? At Smith Transport, they have a 3-day work week for $1,000. I did see that too, right? At Smith, you can work 3 days and make $1,000 on the Walmart account. So if you don't need the money as much and would rather have some time off, $1,000, 3 days of work. That's not terrible either. So you're not moving to Jasper? Oh no, we still want to move to Jasper. They're just the opportunities there to work are, limited. And I don't want to commute. I'm not going to spend 10 hours of my life commuting to a job that I really don't like anyways. It's bad enough to commute 5 minutes to a job you don't like, much less, that's why they call it work. It isn't great. So driving a long distance to it is just not my idea of a great idea. Once there's something local there, maybe at that, at Jasper Engines or something as a spotter, yeah. I hated the local schedule. I'd rather do 2 or 3 days off over the road. I'd rather do 2 or 3 days and then off weekends and take off December to February. Well, that would be super good, yeah. Jack Decker, I live in Dubuque and am in the purple region on Smith Transport hiring map. Told they did have routes that the purple region. You're in the purple. No routes in purple. Sorry. They go, you're in purple. I did get your links. I looked at them, but I'll tell at them. Yeah, try them. He said 75 cents a mile, but you're driving on the East Coast. And he told me, don't take the tollways. I'll forget this guy. You're never going to get paid. All right. Already, don't drive in the toll road. How do you go to the East Coast and don't drive on toll roads? Oh, just take US 30 across there. No way. Look, it's $10.99. That was bad enough. Maybe for 80 cents plus toll roads and no East Coast. No. No way. I-94 plus Ohio. I know. I'm like, okay, 4 states. I'm like, what 4 states? And I thought it'd be maybe the next state, like Minnesota. But no, it's Ohio. I live in Pennsylvania, but think Dubuque, Iowa is at the most western edge. Apparently it's purple. They use the diesel and ammonium nitrate to make explosives for the quarries. They drill holes and fill it with a mixture, and det cord blasted away. I wish I had that job. That'd be a nice job. That'd be fun. I wonder how much. Just put a little extra in here and blow the crap out of this place. Eddie McFadden, yeah, always hammered down there. Do you remember Busky Lines? A friend told me they would make a Swift look golden. Wow. I read the chat and it's worth the money. Absolutely. I used to watch Lawrence Welk with my dad. Nice. Yeah, Lawrence Welk, right. That's a good show. Now look, Liberace too. That guy could play. Mark, drive for Smith. Yeah, but Smith, you're gone. That's the problem, right? See that big truck? You got to sleep in that truck. So for me, that's not going to be the thing for me at the moment. Not probably not coming back up anytime soon. Smith should be spelled Smythe. Why Smythe? Isn't it named after somebody named John Smith or something like that? That's what I think. So somebody wanted me to ask this. In Virginia, they have scales, and some of them you have to go through a tunnel. And he said, what do people think about this? And I thought, look, I'll see. He's going to try this. What do you think about this? He's going to tell them, look, if you need me to come over there, I can't do it because I have a condition. I'm like, I can't walk through an enclosed space. So if you want to inspect me or look at my paperwork, you have to come to me. When calling him on that phone. So how do you think that's going to work? Do you think the scale people are going to appreciate that? Standout 1099 offers usually poachers. I think for this kind of deal, 1099 has to pay a lot more because they're saving a lot of money, especially going to cash app you money. So, they're going to save money. It's going to be 80 cents plus at least to make it worthwhile. And there's no way this guy with no tolls is ever going to pay you. You're going to get half your money. And how are you going to get the rest of your money from him? Do you listen to No Luck Trucking? What is No Luck Trucking? Is that another channel? Why should Smith be spelled Smythe? Exactly. Smith is named after the founder, Barry Smith. All right, yeah, I knew it was a person's name. And it's good because it's an unusual name, so you don't see any Smiths around, and so he named it after himself, Smith Trucking. But I figured it was a founder's name, somebody that started the place, Smith, like a lot of these places are. I think they're employee-owned now, as they like to say. Employee-owned. What if you tell these scale guys, look, I'm not coming across. You got to come to me. I thought that's probably going to be a bad idea. You're going to get nightsticked on the other side, but maybe it'll work. They'll send the hounds on you. I think they're going to come and do a full inspection on you if you make them drag themselves over there to you if they tell you to come to them. Smith Transport Recruiter said they had no routes with me living in Dubuque. Once you call them and they don't have anything going out there, you're kind of stuck. You know who would get you a job there? GP Transco would hire you there. I think Dot will hire you there. There's a lot of places that'll probably hire you there. I think you could talk to Cheeseman. There are places I think that would get you a job out there. But it may just not be Smith. There are places that would get you something, though, for sure. ACUS. Oh, goodness. Thank you very much. Goodness. What is it with if you bought it, I brought it saying? I never heard concrete layers say if you brought the load, it's because I paved the road. Or Dunlop saying if you drive a truck, it's because we made the tires. Well, maybe they should. You know what? Without people doing concrete, you can't deliver loads. So yeah, I think it's accurate. People don't realize the benefit that they get out of the working class, like Mike Rowe would say, out of, blue collar workers. Mike Rowe would put out there people that lay cement to drive trucks and make tires. Without people making things, we don't have anything. So maybe they should put that on the cement thing. As it goes around, you can read it. You can just go around and read it as it goes around on the cement truck, which is actually pretty funny, I think. And then the tires too. They can, instead of putting Dunlop on them, they could put it all the way around. If you're reading this, I'm driving something to your house, something like that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's a good idea. Alrighty, heading out of here, Fleet Nav Systems. Have a great day and stay safe out there. Well, thanks for stopping by. Go get your shovels ready. You're going to need them soon. I saw that on there, like maybe tomorrow. Scales belong on fish, not on trucks. That's very good. The other truckers coach Tom Lehman. 1099 jobs only benefit the company and not the driver. Of course. The only reason companies do anything is so they benefit. Why do you think a lot of these companies, lease all these trucks out to drivers? They benefit from the lease, or they wouldn't do it. If it wasn't making them more money, why would they do it? Oh, this is going to make us less money. Let's do this? No way. There's always a benefit to them. And a 1099 has to benefit you, so it needs to pay 80 plus cents a mile, at least. At least. 1099 is a scam, but good enough to get back in the game if you love trucking. Yeah, look, you can, if you're using it for your benefit somehow, you need to get back in and they'll pay you. And they'll get you in a truck. That's true too. Keep all your logs though, because they may not benefit, or they may not ever show that you work there. So make sure you can prove everything. If something's benefiting you, yes. Smith CEO's name is Ben Smith. He owns I-65 Transport. Okay. Fair enough. I've seen some of that. Is that the one that's running 99 cents a mile ads? Oh, really? Get ready for your violation and find no warning. Steel horse. I thought so too. I thought, you know what? That's really clever, except if they actually got to walk across there, you're going to be a butt about it like that, you are getting inspected and you're getting a fine. Your truck is not going to pass an inspection. He's like, oh, it'd be fun to mess with them. I go, I don't know about that. When they really find something. Well, you look like somebody we need to talk to, so we're going down to the station. You never know how far they're going to push that. Got my roller Wiener from Love's. Oh, they're on sale this month too, right? I just talked to today Trucker Freight Lines. Tucker, and they're out of Iowa. They told me 64 cents W2. That's more like it, right? That's more like it. Who else would get you home? Oh, yeah, you know who else would work out there in Iowa? Melton. How about that? He would talk to you. So there's somebody you could talk to. They're a place that would go. Check Cheeseman's website. They list their open positions, right? They have open positions on there. We'll work for free beef wieners, always, because they're better than the pork ones. The other truckers coach, Tom Lehman, still think GP Transco is a good company, even though Pote and Cooper. Who's Cooper? I don't know who Cooper is. The truckers coach went there to lease a truck, which I never recommend even there. Their lease is what, $1.40 or something like that, $1.60. I don't recommend leasing a truck from a carrier, no matter who it is, them or anybody else. And that's why I don't take money from these companies, so I can say that. They don't pay me just like all these other companies don't pay me. So if you couldn't make it work, I don't know what to say. I know a lot of company drivers have gone there, and they write to me regularly and send me occasionally their checks for $2,300 or $2,400 as a company driver. And, that's pretty good. And you can make a living being a company driver, making $2,300 a week. You can live in the United States. So I know people can make it there. But I'll tell you, people can't make it at every company. It doesn't matter what the company is. So part of it is the driver. You got to stay there. I know some people, they'll go to a company for 2 weeks and they quit. Oh, I quit. I can't take it. All right, well, you haven't even been there long enough to figure the system out. You got to figure out the system and where you fit into it and how to make the thing work for you. Once you're at a place for years, you can call them up. You call up the planners or whatever. Oh, I'm going to be here. Hey, how about that load from, this company over here? Because there's loads there. Get ahead of stuff and get yourself basically self-dispatched. Paladin, I hate shoveling the sunshine. You're horrible. I was buying some ice melt this weekend to make sure I could get it before I started needing it. So I got my big bag of pressed on ice melt to get the winter started. John Harper, I went to a customer once that made you get out of the truck on the scale to give them the paperwork. and to vet your paperwork. I tried to pull off, and they made me get back on the scale. I backed onto it. That's sweet. I'm back on the scale. I always think they ought to weigh you when you're in the truck, though. Make sure they weigh you when you're in the truck because you're part of the weight of the truck. Interviewing with Thomas Transport at 3 p.m. They pay 70% of the load. Driver average $2,500 a week. Better than Merck's. Yeah, Merck's. Any Chicago Merck's place like that is going to be a problem. 70% is good when the rates are up. Right, I don't have rates this week. Around $3 though, so you should be getting $2 a mile. Tanker yankers because truckers need heroes. That's right, and we all need gas, which is down a few cents. Thank goodness Papa Joe put out that from the reserve. We're down to $3.27 here, and diesel's down to $3.72, down 2 cents. So that was great. No Luck Trucking is another channel. Oh, are they not having Luck Trucking? Or is that just a clever name? I mean, are they owner-operators? Is it one person? 1099 is a good way to get out of garnishments. That's true. If you have a lot of things coming out of your check, suddenly you don't get a check anymore. So that's an interesting way to do it. That's pretty good. Piloting you should never hate. Yeah, even snow or sunshine. Mob, you're right. Yeah, so it's another personal thing, right? I need to get out of this, so 1099 works, right? For some people, it works. 1099 are misclassified. Oh, you're totally being misclassified. This goober that wants drivers is going to cash app them. You drive their truck. He tells you what routes to take and all that. Oh, no, you're totally an employee there. Completely an employee. Why is Springfield, Missouri, the mecca of trucking companies? Does Missouri have a tax break? They must have some kind of tax break or good laws about employee-employer relationships. I assume those states down there. Arkansas, another big one, right? Iowa, they probably have some kind of great laws or good taxes. Cooper is on Truckers Coach's channel. Okay, I just don't know who that is. So if he tried to go there, was that a company driver or was that a lease or owner operator there? There's a company called Bankrupt Transport. That's pretty clever. Buying $72,000 used trucks. The average truck was 6 years, 6 months old and had 411,000 miles on it and went for an average of $72,204 last month. How about that for you people, owner operators buying a truck? What do you think about that? GP Transco is a great gig for company driver. I agree with you. Never lease a truck from the hand that feeds you, the other trucker's coach. Right, because they can slap you. That same hand they slap you. You want control of the asset. So if you're going to put a truck on somewhere, that's fine. Own the truck outside of that carrier. Don't get the truck from the same place that writes your check. And they start not liking you, they'll just give you enough miles to make your payment or whatever. No way, because you can't go anywhere. Ice melt, move south. You know what I'm talking about. Ice melt. Yeah, a big bag of Prestone ice melt. Melts to 20 below zero. Works good. I carry a bag of it in the truck, and I have a number of bags of it here. In the next few weeks, I'll get a bag every week. I'll probably have 100 pounds of it here, and I'll keep a big bag of it in the truck. Crying with Cooper. Cooper's your dog. What kind of dog? I want to pet it. Guaranteed pay is the best pay. That way, at least you know what you're going to make. Like if you're getting this $1,800 guarantee, you're going to get $1,800. The Bankrupt is always located in New Jersey as the garbage trucking company. That's true, too. Garbage. Cooper's a company driver. Okay, Coach was a lease operator. All right, well, not every company is for everybody, including probably GP Transco and probably every place, wherever everybody on here works. You all know. You've seen people come in and then they go. They quit right away. It's not for everybody. Each place isn't for everybody. You got to find out where you fit in the whole universe of everything. What I do, a lot of people quit because they don't want to do the same thing every day. I love it. I know what my check will be, basically, except all my waiting time. But you know what you're going to make. I know where I'm going. I like that. A lot of people don't like it. They come in and they go, I don't like this. So then they leave. It's not for everybody. But then the road's not for everybody. It just depends. Like Melton, okay. Much as I like Melton paying $100 to tarp in that's hard work. So that may not be for everybody. It just depends. Smith has routing as well. Makes me no difference. I got my long nose truck. I don't care how much fuel is. Exactly. If you're not buying the fuel, that's a nice truck. I totally agree. I've always said Western Star if I'm not buying the fuel. If I'm buying the fuel, Cascadia, right? Fuel efficient, Cascadia. Not buying the fuel? Sure, long nose Pete. Absolutely. Stupid as this stupid does, maybe. A younger couple, but they used to run for Prime. Okay. They're not owner-operators of Landstar. All right, they're doing well. They're very interesting. Yeah, Landstar. I like Landstar because you get to pick your own loads. They have just a load board, the way I understand it, because I've seen them at the truck show, and I don't know if they'll be set up this year. A lot of times at the truck show in Louisville, they set up their load board so you can just go look at it, and they show you all their loads. And I thought, oh, this is pretty fascinating. You can just pick every load you want out of there. Set it up, and off you go. The other truckers coach, Cooper started as a company driver, then went to lease. Oh, and then left. There you go. Okay. So he became a lease operator and left. Here's the problem. Leasing a truck. I don't ever think it's a great idea from a company. I just don't. People do it. Write to me all the time. Mark, I'm successful. Great. Right. I just can't recommend it. Hair dryer ice melt? No, but I will say you can't take a shower and go outside some days here, Mr. Paladin, when it's 20 below zero, because even what little hair I may have left freezes. Notice a couple scales weighing you when you're in the truck empty and weighing you when you're out of the truck loaded. Cheating. Right. People got to think about this. Depending on how much you weigh or whatever, getting in the truck could put you overweight, especially if you're close. Always weigh yourself, in the truck with whatever you're going to take with you. I prefer companies that allow passengers, so the truck's usually nicer. Oh, really? I never thought of it that way. At least you get a passenger seat that has air. All of our new Cascadias, the passenger seat just sits there because the batteries are under the seat. So the seat can't go up and down. I don't make the truck. But the batteries are under that passenger seat. There's 3 batteries under the seat, and the seat is really wide, and it doesn't go up and down. It just is bolted to the floor. So I thought, well, I'm glad we don't ever have anybody in the trucks. Because they had me take somebody to Cincinnati one time and drop them off to pick a truck up. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'll take him. But I got one of these new trucks with a seat. And they're like, oh, so he's got to sit there. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I'm not a fan of waiting time. One reason I love Cheeseman, I don't like it either. Believe me. At least, though, I'm always a fan of getting paid for it, though. So I enjoy that. But I agree. Waiting all the time, aggravating. What do you think of Decker? I haven't seen Decker. I haven't looked at Decker in a long time. How do you give prime drivers a raise? How do you give them a raise? Every year you get a waiver for unlimited hours if you want it. Every year we get a waiver for doing what? The other truckers coach, I tell my trainees you have to stay with a company and complete a W-2 form a year, then look at figures after you file taxes, then decide if it's worth doing another year. Right. That's true. And, look, if you're a company driver somewhere and you want to lease a truck from that company, why don't you figure out each load and whether you'd make it as a lease operator and see how much you'd make. Tell them to tell you how much it costs because you're thinking of leasing a truck, and so you want to do your numbers. And I'll say this, if they'll tell you, well, we're not going to tell you how much these loads pay or whatever, that's really something to think about too. You're saying, I want to lease a truck from you, but I want to figure this out in advance. And for some weeks, you can see exactly how much you would have made doing the same loads. I think it'd be interesting. The manhole's a perfect fit for you. That's what says right over the door. The porthole, they call it, to get in. Something outdoors. I'm in Maine, and the rain is starting to freeze. Oh, that's great. It would freeze here. It's only going to be 27 for a high tomorrow, so get your coats ready. Then you can turn the truck up. You could, but when you own the truck and you turn it up, then it costs you more fuel. I love the snow. That's earning time. Well, the problem, I get paid the same, like most company drivers. I think it's the time when we earn our money. I do say that to people. I go, look, these few months, this is when we earn the whole year's pay. When I actually get the load delivered and don't crash into anybody, that's when I think we earn money. I think Clutch Trucker's up to a day 200 on his sleeper upgrade. Imagine how much he's lost by not driving. It might have been cheaper buying a new truck. Day 200. Wow. Every day, how much do you lose every day by sitting? That's the thing of changing companies you have to really think about. If you're going to change for 3 cents a mile and it's going to take you a week or two to get a check, oh my gosh. Be it a 98 FLD or 2020 Cascadia, Freightliner will still beat the crap out of you. It will. They don't have any really great ones. But at least if I was buying the fuel, I'd get the Cascadia for the mileage. Because now I'm running a business. Mark, start focusing on crappy LTL companies and the big union companies. With the top pair crappy to work at teams, terminal managers think they are God. See, the thing is about those places, number one, nobody will really talk about them, or hardly anybody. And they're hard to find out about because each little place, each little terminal, like ABF, terminals all over the country, each little one's run like its own little fiefdom, like it's their own little country. So you'll hear drivers sometimes, if they'll say anything, oh, they work in Indianapolis or whatever. Oh, it's great. And then somebody's working out of, St. Louis, and they're like, it's terrible because of the manager. It's each individual place is run like its own little city. And I assume at those places there's tons of drama and infighting and all that kind of thing, even though the pay should be better. What is the bucket limit at the manhole? Whatever you can take. JJ the trucker said the Landstar load board posts the same load multiple times, which makes it look like they're more volume than what they really have. Oh, I'll have to check that out. All I know is looking at them that there were a lot of loads, and you could look through at they had a whole table set up or whatever, and you could look at the loads and see what it paid and where it went and everything, and you got to pick from all these loads. I never noticed that they were duplicates. Maybe, I will say it's all brokers posting on their board. They have all these brokers all over the country. Maybe different brokers are posting the same load. That's possible too. To raise the pay for prime drivers, you turn the truck up. Right. From what they tell me, the trucks can go 65. Prime just puts in your head to go 58 miles an hour. They're the only company that really does that. We consistently get over 8 miles to the gallon going 65. I don't think that's terrible. And I think getting 8, you could make money even owning a truck. You should be able to make money getting 8 miles per gallon because that's better than any fuel surcharge. Clutch Trucker is using a sleeper upgrade to spend some home time. Well, look, if you want home time, you shouldn't be upgrading your sleeper. You should be getting a truck where you just go home with it every day. I mean, if that is your goal, right, where, I want home time, then get a job that gives you home time. If you're like, I want to see the country and, take a 30 for a break here and there and see the whole country basically paid, then do that. That's awesome too. TJ Jones in the Bull of the Woods is here. What's going on? Freezing to death here. Living in Florida, I never even saw snow, so I started trucking. Nice. James Morrow, I was very fortunate, though, and had an excellent trainer. That's good. I think the trainer should have already seen snow for at least a season. Imagine a trainer that's never seen snow, never even seen snow, and then gets on at a company for 3 months and becomes a trainer and never gets through the snow. Wow. You're like, snow? Oh, let's enjoy it together. At Landstar, you do not have to use the load board. You can use your own or deal with an agent directly. The load board is really there to get connections to grow your business. You can use your own. Oh, how would you get a load for them if you got a load from, like, you were a member of, say, loadboard.com or whatever? I know you can deal with the agents directly, and I know people always said, look, the idea is you find loads and you work with agents, and then they just call you. Loads don't go on the board. Those aren't all their loads. How would you get a load off of some other board and get them to do it? Just tell the agent to get that load off of that board, I guess? I don't know. You're looking for land now? What are you going to do on the land since you already have a place? My 8-speed 389 gets 7 miles per gallon fully loaded. That's pretty good. I think you still could make money even getting 7 because that's still at least as good or better than most fuel surcharges. So I think you'd still do okay at 7. I think you got to get at least 7. But certainly getting 8, you still could make money at 8. Unless your truck payment is, $1,900 a week. 80 here in Ocala, Florida. Wow. What do you do in Ocala? I always have people calling, and there's never jobs in Florida. Are there any kind of jobs people can do down there? I don't see too many. I know Dot will hire in Florida. Food. But not everybody will hire out of Florida. So it's hard to say what you can get out of down there. The other trucker's coach. Proper training, the absolute biggest problem in the industry. Well, is it? Here's the thing. Maybe proper training. Like, I never had a trainer. And a lot of people, older people, like older than me, I know what people think, well, Mark, you, just never had a trainer. Just went and drove. When we graduated truck school Thursday, Friday was makeup day for anybody that didn't pass the test, but I think there's only one person. I went to work Monday. To work. Local. In Chicago. So there wasn't training back then. Like DAT Load 123, they already have a system with most brokers. Oh, okay. 90% of the time, tell them you're on with Landstar and they know what to do from there. Business owner or whatever that is called. I forget right. And know what to do. Okay, so they're already on there. You find your own load. Tell them, hey, I'll take this load, and they can hook you up there. Okay. Yeah, Landstar, I think, is the next best thing to having your own authority, right? Because you literally control your whole day. You want to run, you run. You don't want to run, don't take a load. You want to go home, get yourself home. It's the closest thing to having your own name on the side of the truck. 72 in Savannah, Georgia. Very nice. Very plantation-ish. Lots of freight into Florida, not so much coming out. Well, that's true. You could always get in. And I bobtailed out of there, or deadheaded out of Miami, like to Jacksonville one time. They just don't have loads. Company's like, well, going to Jacksonville. I said, well, okay, fine. I get paid either way. I'm being followed by Sierra England driving an international. Wow. I didn't see too many of those for them. Wait till you see one of their Western Stars. I carry ice melt and a snow shovel. Yeah, just pour it out and bust it up. The load board at the MH is full of, yes. I want to live off grid. If I sell this house, you'll need some solar panels. Why do drivers that have a governed truck speed through towns and construction zones passing everybody? Joe, that's correct. They do that all the time. I see that constantly. When we hit, I'll pass trucks that are coming up 74. They're going 62, 63. And so if I'm getting close to Indy, we go around 465. They're going 63, 62, same speed. They're still speeding. It's a 55 through there. I think self-taught drivers are safer. Maybe, as long as you get it going. I think the thing to teach people is more of the logs and all that. That's what we seem to have problems with. You know, when we run mostly a local operation, we get people that are getting log violations for 30-minute breaks and stuff. People don't understand how to log anything because nobody shows that. Have a load picking up in Tampa, enjoying the warm weather before I hit the Northeast again. straight up the coast from Tampa. Florida sounds like Hotel California. Yeah, it will, and especially about another 45 days, it really will. But the people that trained you, were they good or did they have life experience? Well, that's the thing. At the school, I only went to truck school for 2.5 weeks. They were all drivers. Those 3 guys there, it was a small place. They had all been driving 25 years. And you really learned there. You'd spend days just backing up, back up, pull up, back up, pull up, back up, pull up, back up, all day. It's up to the person on what they learn and how they learn. I went to flatbed with no training, just brought my own setup and went head first. I just paid attention, asked questions, and look up laws. Okay, yeah, fair enough. That's easier to do now, too. For me to look up a law driving in 1988, I would have had to pull the truck over to the library and look stuff up there. Old Dominion is hiring local drivers in Tampa. All right, I see their ads all over. Old Dominion is hiring everywhere. I remember my trainer. He was tough, but I learned a lot. That was in 98. He had 40 years experience at the time. That's sweet. Now that's somebody that'd be a good trainer. Wow. I don't know. I guess they feel like they'll be making up time. My truck is wide open, but I still run 70. I'd just get it either out of the way or past. Yeah, I think they do make up time, but I don't think they should be dispatched in such a way that they're stuck. And I do see some people that are hourly. I've seen Holland go through. I think they're hourly. I'll see Dayton Freight. I know they're hourly because I see their ads. So I know they're getting paid by the hour. Why are we speeding? I thought being paid by the hour would slow people down to the speed limit, but it doesn't seem to. If you have a trainer, he teaches you his habits instead of you picking up your own. That could be good or bad, I guess. He can beat the bad habits out of you. What's the reasonable rate to start at 17 years experience? Wow, leaving a grocery company over the road, 60 plus cents. Easy. Especially if it's 17 years at one place. Wow. 0 on Point Hope, Alaska. Where's Point Hope, Alaska? Jobs up there don't pay anything. Old Dominion's not that old, isn't it? I think they're an old company. So there. Yeah, 60 cents million mile, at least 60. I think you can get that no problem. Is Indiana Jack doing well? He started his new channel, about to ask a recruiter, but he's not been on there for a few months. He got sick. I don't know who that is. Why have respect for the older drivers? I can't imagine. You can't imagine. The library. I mean, for me, going back, the trucks were not as great as they are today. But then, I drove some trucks from the 70s, even into the 80s, and thought, wow, these trucks are horrible. I can't imagine people driving in an Astro around the country. Saddle Creek out of Lakeland, Florida, just east of Orlando. My advice to new drivers on a 10-speed, enjoy empty or bobtailing is skip shift. Easy, skip shift anyway. Easy on third, pull up the valve, go to 6, 8, 10. Let the RPMs fall and do the same on the downshift. Absolutely. I skip anyways, unless it's full. I'm not doing all those gears. Oh my gosh. What about Variant? No. Variant is US Express with a different colored truck. So I'm not a fan of that. And they're only at, what did I have, 50-something cents to start? Can you imagine the hit you take if you had Landstar broker a load through another broker? Well, that's the thing. It depends what it is. You're taking part of it. It could start at 4 and gets down to you at 3, which still wouldn't be terrible. Oh, what, it's 68% of 98% or something. So it's not great, but it depends. Are you making enough to run your business? That's the thing. Chrysler and Belvedere's closing in 6 months. Yeah, isn't that where they made the neons up there at Chrysler in Belvedere? I remember there'd be one sitting out there. Sir England, cold-hearted reptiles. Every new guy leaves after 90 days. They don't keep a lot of people. So how you found a specific address in a major city, or what if the load delivery location changes mid-trip? Well, that's a problem. You generally had to call every day. The load delivery location generally doesn't change mid-trip. Even now, right? How often does that happen? Not much. How do you find a specific address? It's on the bills. You have bills. When you sign, they give you the bills. They have the address, and then you get on a map, which you had in the sleeper or somewhere, road atlas, and find it in the map and stop maybe at a truck stop on the way and call them. How do I get here? Where you are, and they will tell you how to get in there. And you go that route versus your atlas. Look up all the low bridge locations in the back of your motor carrier's road atlas on your route and see if you can go that way, and hope for the best when you get there. Right, I would write the directions down, and I had like a little clip on the dashboard. So I'd write them down on a piece of paper like this and just clip it on the dashboard. Turn here, right here, next here, and I would just look at that and then look for the street signs, and that's how I would get around. Can you imagine it? But that's how you had to do it. There's no other way to do it. New drivers watch inside docks for people chatting on the phone, smoking mentally, but not aware you're backing in. Always walk a dock. Especially if you're backing in to a building or whatever, you got to get out and walk around in the dock and see what's in there. Always, if you don't know what's in there, you got to walk it. Go back there, look for stuff, get people out of the way. That's every day, every dock, everywhere, but especially back in the building, you can't see anything in there. Who knows why people sit in weird places to do stuff? They're looking for Pokemons or whatever in there. That's what kids do. Point is a small town in Alaska that borders Canada and Russia. You can see Russia from that town. Is that what you're saying? I get the most consistent loads of miles in the triangle from Pennsylvania to Illinois to Georgia. Love the occasional load from Georgia to Southern California. Yeah, once in a while get you out to the warmth and then get you back. I would like those longer loads. It sounds like a headache. Yes, it does. But then that's how it was done. There wasn't any way to do it. I tried to look stuff up on the internet, but Al Gore didn't invent it yet. So my phone didn't work. So it just sat there. So you'd have to go in and use a phone card, an FON phone card, and call the place. Hey, I'm delivering tomorrow at 3 p.m. How do I get there? I'll be coming off of this interstate. And you'd write it all down and then clip it to the dashboard. That's how I did it. Chrysler and Belvedere makes a Cherokee and a Renegade. Now, yes, that was the neon plant, though. That was the neon plant. Atlas is updated once a year. GPS updated more often. That's true. You would buy a new one every year in the fall. I would get a new paper. I bought the paper one because I was cheap, $12.95. And you'd buy one every year. Updated once a year. Yep, and I recommend it every year because it got all the bridge updates and everything. The GPS is updated constantly. But GPS, it's not great. You know, I've used a couple of them. The one the company has in their tablet and the one the driver that used the truck, he leaves in there sometimes, his Garmin, neither of them are great. So I would tell you, I wouldn't, live by it or anything. Consistently, but still loving Roller Arena Monday. Hey, Mark, Kelt Rooster travels. Yeah, well, you got to eat that wiener first. I get a lot of blind shipments, flat highway. What does a blind shipment mean? Chrysler did the Dodge pickup truck. They didn't do the Dodge pickup truck in Belvedere, I don't think. Did they? Most of them give you the way for the cars in. Well, you tell them, Joan, and I agree with you. I'm bringing in a tall semi. How do I get to the docks? That's what I would tell them when I call them. I'm not coming to your parking lot or whatever. Where do they send the trucks? And usually the person that answers seems to know. Oh, okay. Well, you go around the back, so go down this street or whatever. That is generally how it worked. Yeah. That's how I would do it. Ray McNally GPS has built-in digital road atlas you can use contains some information as a paper atlas. Kelly, well, that may be true, but the paper atlas did not also contain the digital road atlas when some of us started driving. Where you don't tell the consignee where it came from. You have to make your own bills. You don't tell the consignee where it came from. But you get bills when you pick it up. Somebody's got to have bills with an address on it. It can't just be blank. I had an argument with another driver on Friday. He had to go to his truck to get his ID and thought he could just come back and cut in line with the 5 drivers waiting to check in. You never know if you need an ID. You should always carry that in with you. I always get the Ram McNally GPS since they make the maps. Does it work? See, would you trust it? I still had a Ram McNally map, but I always called the place if I'd never been there because I just wouldn't trust it. The age of payphones, Joan Harper, when they used to have payphones in all the truck stops. There were hundreds of them back there. The J would have tons of payphones with a gigantic mound of cigarette butts because it was like your own little booth in there. God knows what all else was going on in there. GPS is a great tool, but I don't trust it. I know. Just like the map. Okay, I look at the map, but then still I got to call and still watch the bridges. Same thing. I get blind shipments too. The load broker does not want the shipper to know who the receiver is. But I got to know that Bill's got to have a shipper and receiver on them or they're not bills. So I need to know something right away. So you get the bills, but do not show the delivery. Do not show the delivery of the bills. You make your own bills. The sender's blink. Why not? What kind of, Fugazi stuff is going on here? Why are we trying to... I'd be like, I'm not in on all this, whatever you guys are doing. I need bills that have the shipper and consignee on the bills to be legal bills. So I need that in my hand when I leave. They can't just have it blank. Oh, we're not going to tell you. The address on the bills is not the delivery address. Well, that might be a different story. The other truckers coach, I had two of the biggest people who got recreated as trainers. My father and grandfather. Well, were they tough on you? Never had issues with my Graham McNally GPS for truck or low bridges. I didn't think it was taking me... Like here, it won't take you down some roads that are truck roads. And where I go, this was Garmin. This is the one I would use, Garmin. Where I go into an industrial park, okay, in Cincinnati, it won't let you turn there. It says no truck route, not a truck route. It's an industrial park. That's all that's back there. So they're just not 100%. As long as you set up time to set up GPS properly, they're reliable. They're somewhat reliable like a map, but I wouldn't 100% trust it. I use Google Maps for the past 3 years just to plan my trip. I use car Google Maps on a phone for my trip and plan it just like I used to. I would map it and call the place if I didn't know where I'm going. Sounds like the manhole gets a lot of blind shipments. There are shipments. Yeah, you don't want to know where it came from there. It's middlemanish. Yeah, but I'm saying, look, I'm not in your guys' all years who's trying to scam everybody. I just want to know where I'm going. Jerry Rocks, it'll net $200,000 to the truck on an 80,000 odometer miles at Landstar this year. That's pretty good. Took 7 weeks off. Good place to lease on. Yeah, I think it's the best thing next to owning your own authority, right? So I don't think that's terrible. Owning your own authority. Yeah, so you're making extra 100 over, say, a company driver. Because you could get, say, 100 on the road. So, absolutely. With all your time off, and you get to set your own schedule. That's what people, and that's what the ATRI found when they asked owner-operators, what's the deal? Right, independence, I can set my own schedule, and the flexibility of picking loads. And you absolutely can do that there, where you can't as a company driver. If the satellites ever go down, there'll be a lot of drivers in trouble because they can't read a map. That's true. They have no idea what to do then if the satellites go down. Of course, if the satellites go down, that's not going to be your biggest problem. All the cars won't be able to figure their way around either. I use Google Earth to look at everything in my surroundings. It even gives me the ways that I can get into the facility. Certainly, go to satellite view on there. You can look at the place you're going to go and go, oh, the docks are not on this street. They're in the street before, so I need to turn in this first street. It's the greatest thing ever. The only way you could use Google Earth in the 80s was to stand on top of your trailer. That was it. That was the best Google Earth you had. GPS is a wonderful thing. However, Plan B is always a good thing too. Look, Plan B is always is a great thing. They have them. You can buy them everywhere. People always bring up the 65%, but a lot of guys there is coming home more than the ones at 90%. What the 65%? Jeff, if all satellites go down, you're going to have bigger issues. Yeah, that's when we're going to be fighting it out. Verizon has truck GPS, but it's $375 a week to use. Nice. So what? $180 a year. Could write it off. Bill Lading should be printed on your T-shirt. It should be printed somewhere. I need to know something. Saw the Sherwin-Williams trucks going over a bridge in the median to Bonehead Truckers. Oh, I did see that. It was like hanging over the bridge or something. Yeah. When you go to Cincinnati, are you close to the Justin Sturgill Trucking? What is Justin Sturgill Trucking? Is that a company in Cincinnati? Route planning is essential. Drivers don't do it. They just go off. Look, we get drivers stuck in the weather all the time. Oh, I had no idea it's going to snow. I'm like, how do you not know it was going to snow? It was been on the news for 3 days. And you're home. Why aren't you looking at this? Why don't people check that before they go out? I check the weather every day before I go out. I used to have my own authority. Really? Could you just start that back up? Because I'll tell you, That would get you back in the truck. Satellite view is a lifesaver. Get to view my approach so it looks like I always go there. That's true too, right? Same if the market's ever totally crashed. Money's going to be the last thing. I know people are like, oh, I have all this gold or actual gold coins. I'm like, so what? You're not going to need that. Nobody's going to accept it. Do you think that Meyer is just going to be, well, money is no good anymore, so now we're only accepting gold coins and everybody's life goes on like normal? No way. You're going to be hiding in the corner eating beans out of a can. Hammer's truck GPS free. All right, I know there's got to be some that are free. $3.75 a month. Even with GPS, people should plan their trip. I know. People should, but they don't. They're just like, well, I'm just going to go for it. And they're typing in. They're like 3 miles away trying to type an address in. Major Barrett, I started driving in 1972. Wow, I would call and ask shipping and receiving, get directions, and write it on a card and file it. So you had them, right. Did you pin the card up? That's what I would do. When I would get the directions, I'd pin the thing on the dashboard with the little clippy thing so I could look at it when I'm driving and know where I'm going so I didn't have to mess around with a bunch of paper. Something Outdoors, I graduated my class with the highest score on map reading. It is king over electronics. It is. It'll always work even if the satellites go down. We can't eat gold and silver. No, the idea, people have always told me, Mark, you should store actual gold coins and, bags of silver quarters that you buy at the coin store. Because if the money system goes down and you can't use your ATM and the banks are all closed or whatever, you can use those to buy things. I'm like, are you kidding me? Life is not just going to go on Meyer. It's going to have a sign accepting silver 1964 pre-64 quarters. No way. It's going to be, Mad Max out there. Common sense is not common. True. I love beans is good because you're going to be eating them in the corner of your basement with a rifle. Look at the chaos when the Rona hit over the toilet paper. There's still no toilet paper. There wasn't any toilet paper yesterday again. So still working on my hoard of it here. Street View is good in some of the more difficult locations where the truck entrance isn't as obvious for figuring it out. Yeah, you just never know. Always Street View that stuff if you're going somewhere because you don't know which entrance the truck is. You might have to turn on a street before the street it takes you down. I don't think I can. I don't have a truck. You might be able to get a truck. You don't have to have a truck to start your authority. You can start your authority and lease people onto you. What do you think about that? So if it's dormant, you might be able to refire it up, kind of Frankensteinish, and lease people on using your authority. How about that? I think I was born in the wrong generation. Seems older days trucking was fun. It was probably more fun. Certainly it paid better. I have people writing in from that did drive in the 70s that made $100,000 a year in the 70s. Okay, so imagine, the trucks were not as great, but you actually made a decent living. $100,000 then, and now people are making $100 and are happy about it. Many people use GPS because it gives them the miles. They can't figure the miles by looking at read the points on the map. I love using an atlas because I can pick and choose my roads. You can. But who remembers this? When you had to write your mileage down when you cross state lines. You had to keep track of all your odometer at crossing each state line. And at the end of your trip, you had to fill on a trip to turn it in, basically for what would have been considered the miles per state. Beans and bourbon, an explosive combination. Wow, you're going to be living good in the bunker there. I've got all my bourbon saved up and a bunch of Bush's beans. Reading road signs is essentially when GPS and map towns decide overnight to make a truck route a non-truck route. Yeah, people just think because the GPS says it, you can't. Or because it says you can't, that doesn't mean you can't. Like where I go, it says I can't turn there, but that's the turn in. So that's a problem. You have to know where you're going beyond the GPS. Justin Sturgill has his own channel on YouTube, Blue Peterbilt Dump Truck, now switching to Western Stars. And he must be doing well. He'll get drivers to drive those Western Stars. Gold and silver are long-range guards against inflation. I love what beans do to me. They would do better against inflation versus what people always tell me, which is, you'll have these big sacks of quarters you can go out and buy things with. I'm like, do you think Meyer's going to weigh the quarters? And how is that going to work? Stop talking about me, Joan Harper. I'm one of those that look at the directions and I'm 3 blocks away. Yeah, see, that's why I clip them to the thing. Every left, right, and all that. Clip them up there. Don't be typing in when we're driving. Everything's done in advance. I remember when I loaded Quebec, I had to buy a city map to unfold it to find the street because the atlas does not go down to street level. Oh, sure. I'd have all these city maps for bigger cities. I had a Chicago bridge map. They used to sell, I don't know if they do them anymore, a Chicago bridge map. and what was the city of Chicago, every single map, or every bridge in the city, and it was marked red, yellow, or green based on its height from the ground. And it came out every year, and you'd buy a new one every year for every bridge in the city, and there were a lot of them. String beans are the best. They're horrible. String beans are horrible. 100,000 in the 70s. Mop. Yes. Some people actually have kept records and sent that in. 79, 100 grand gross in 79. And as I talked about, I think on the podcast, which is on every Tuesday, Friday, by the way, that's about $380,000 in today's money gross. That's why I think drivers even making 100 are not paid enough, because they made 100 50 years ago, 45 years ago. That's 360 today for a company driver. These are company drivers. That's just if they didn't get any raises. That's just inflation all those years. Think about that. My company gave me 10-cent raise. 4 out of 10 loads I get to choose. 4 out of 10. That's a weird way to do it, but okay. Home time is always given, even I requested. I get like I own the truck. That's good. The more that they do that, the more they're likely to keep you, because that's what people want. It turns out that when they go to owner-operators, that's where they leave. If they can do that for you, they'll keep you better. After 20 years of owning a Rand McNally map, I never knew all the information they provided on regulations in the first 10 pages. Yeah, that's how I actually learned a lot of logging, was the front of the map. Because I went local to start with for a short time and then went on the road. I had no idea what I was doing on the road. So like looking through the front of the map, oh, I can log. This is how you log and that. So it was kind of self-taught logging. More fun when you had bigger forearms. Cab gear jammer to turn the gigantic 24-inch steering wheel or whatever it was 36 inches or across, because there's no bar steering. Sure. Fun. You didn't have time to hold a map and stuff. You're trying to turn this gigantic steering wheel. 100 in the 70s is like 250 today. Actually, there is a configurer online, and it's more like 360 today. Just for inflation, without raises. I take non-truck routes sometimes. I like a challenge. That is a challenge. Don't ask where the dog is. Who let the dogs out? That would be great. I guess I would have to check into that. No vax or mask. That's true. You wouldn't need to. And I think it's possible. I didn't know that you had your own authority. Write to me. I think that's an interesting idea. You don't need a truck if you have authority. I had a briefcase just for all my big city maps, baby. Right. Every time you'd go to a city, and plus I would stop at the rest areas then, they gave you maps. So you could sometimes get maps, especially if it was close to a large city. You might be able to get a free map there. You'd have all these maps. You'd be opening these maps, route planning, looking through. I'm going to turn left here. Absolutely. It's just how it was. It wasn't like, oh, well, we're great because we had paper maps. It's just what you did then. We don't do it today, but you did then. I save my shipper and receiver in a GPS, and if I should want to turn on a non-truck route, I'd just mark the road in the GPS to avoid. That's kind of what we did. You'd circle, I'd turn stuff, circle stuff. You had a little folder of all the places you've been. Certainly. Like phone numbers. I don't know about everybody else. Every phone number I call, if I call somebody new, if it's a business or a person or whatever, I save it in the phone. And so every time you get a new phone, they load in the new phone. There are hundreds and hundreds of numbers. It's like my own phone book. I do not use GPS or use recorder to keep track of miles at the state line. Oh, we used to write it down. I guess we could have used a tape recorder. Never really thought about it. So across state line, you'd write it down. Across the next state line, write it down. Sometimes you'd forget. So when you park, you're like, oh, I didn't write the state line down. Well, it's probably 50 miles from here. So you just subtract. There was a time when only 4 numbers in the price of a new Lincoln or Cadillac. Those were the days. $9,000 Lincoln. Add 5 numbers in the price of a new house. My grandfather told me he bought his house for $5,000 in the 50s. House on a lot. He died in 08 and still lived in that house. So, although it was in Calumet City, so it was only worth like 60 grand. But still, $5,000 for a whole house. That was some good money back then, Wilbon. That's true. Drivers then were respected, paid well, respected members of society, basically. Not like now. So that's why I think even at 100, people say, well, Mark, that's good money. Well, not really. Not really relative to what it was. If it just went up without anybody getting a raise, it would be well in the 300,000s now. And that would be a pretty good living for a company driver to make, say, $6,000 a week. And you would just be making what people made years ago, doing the same job you're doing. Companies are making way more money now. Even they say it. Companies say it, and paying way less money to drivers. Remember the old truck stop directory? Oh, yes. You had an exit guide. So every exit in the United States was in there, and it listed the truck stops that were there, parking, restaurants. Oh, yeah. Always had one of those, too. Had to have that. Otherwise, you could never know where a truck stop was. You're like, oh, I'm going to get about this far. What's on this exit? What's on the next exit? Wow. B.J. McKay hauled anything anywhere in the 70s for $1.50. No questions asked, as long as it's legal. Imagine that, $1.50. There are companies now. The last I looked, John Christner was at $1.10 a mile now. So in the 70s, this guy with a monkey on his back is hauling $1.50 around a mile at a truck that probably cost him $30,000 new and paying 60 cents a gallon. Sounds like Sierra England's running a 3-bean salad. That's why they like to get new people in, because you forget. There are not that many people left that remember, and so they're like, well, we'll just give new people $600 a week, and they think it's great, at England and stuff like that. Used to have a truck stop directory from 2015. I haven't bought one, partly because I go to the same places all the time, but in probably 15 years, any of that stuff. Colleges and universities are making the most money. Purdue makes a ton of money over here. They love charging people, a lot of money to get a business degree so they can go manage a McDonald's. When I learned how to use a map, I actually rotated it in the direction that I was driving. A map. That way, if it was heading south and had to make a right turn, I didn't turn left by mistake. Oh, so you change it. Do you do that on your GPS too, or do you always have north as up? Or do you let it change as you're driving? What I mean is if they have 3 loads, they let me choose. Oh, a lot of times I choose where I go. That's pretty good. I wish a lot of companies did that, I really do. I wish if you were in a city and they have loads, that they'd send all the loads to you that are around you and let you pick which one you want to take. The problem is the crappy loads you wouldn't take after a while. You'd know, oh, going this place, I sit there 10 hours. You're not going to want to go there anymore. And so I think some of their crappy loads wouldn't get taken, but then they shouldn't take those loads. They should call that shipper and go, you know what? Nobody wants to move your freight here, so we're not going to do it. But say you're in whatever Chicago, and they have 40 loads in the area. Send them all to you. Here's every load. Where do you want to go? You tell us what you want. You got an hour to tell us what load you want. Or they just send the loads to everybody, and you pick them. Sierra England is like triple cheese truck stop enchilada. Yikes. I'd rather have a truck stop enchilada. 30 miles till the 8 mile. 30 miles till the 8 mile. Amsoil, Adam. Amsoil, nice. My grandparents bought a 75-acre farm in central New York State for $4,500 in 49. That's amazing. Now, what's that worth today? Do they still have it? Or does somebody in the family still have that? Drop a pin, go Street View, and check the clearance on an overpass. Oh, you could do that, right, if it's got the signs. Now, in Chicago, you can't count on the signs. That's why I bought a map. Gangs would change the signs even in the 80s. They would steal them or change them, so you can't count them. Sometimes they're just not right. They've paved the road or whatever, so you can't always count on the signs. The map was an official map put up by the city, though. Taco Tuesday in a 3-bunk. A 3-bunker. Yeah, you don't want Taco Tuesday down there. JB Hunt, no power steering, no air ride, and a 7-speed. Did they have those there? I had a couple of cab overs like that. Sometimes people ask me where I live on the map. I tell them N7. I'm an N7. You can still stop at any trailer rental yard like PLM. They will give you a low clearance map. Do they still have them? Wow. I'll have to check that out. That's why I have land and grow crops. All right. So you still have that. So you had an exit guide too, Michael Swift. Right. Aren't they the greatest things? I don't like percentage pay when they say you get 80 of 100. What's the 100? That's what bothers me about percentage pay. You never know what they're getting. So because you don't know what they're getting, really, I'm just unsure if I'm getting paid correctly. And for a lot of people, it works. But for me, just say, okay, 70 cents a mile you're going to get. Then I know what I'm going to get. The other problem on percentage is you don't get to choose what they take. What if they take a load, so you're getting 80%. What if they take a load for, 80 cents? You're getting 64 cents now instead of what you were getting. And if they're getting a $3 load, are you really getting $2.40? Or if they take $6, are you really getting $4.80 amount? We just don't know. How can you get caught by New York weather? I have weather appointments phone. Because people do. They don't check anything. We have one driver that doesn't have a cell phone. And this guy, far as I know, he doesn't have the internet at his house or anything. Anything that they make you do on the internet, like if he has to sign up for insurance or anything, he has to come to work to do it. He doesn't have an internet or anything. So there are people still living, oh, I don't need any of that. I'm like, I don't understand it. I'll try to find the papers and email to you. I'm just curious about it. You know, I'm not 100% of an authority on that, but I know you. If you have an official authority, you can lease people to you. My company has a software for drivers and dispatchers to write notes and draw on the map for how to get in and out of places. Look, we have an official form for that. They have papers in a file that you can fill out, directions. And when you fill this out, so if you find a way something's closed, you're supposed to fill this out and turn it in. And then all the people in the back, right, the smart people, not like us, they're supposed to take that and re-enter it. Because if you go to a new place, they go, hey, can you go make a pickup over here? You're supposed to be able to say, hey, I never been there. You got directions? And they'll print you out a set of directions. They go, sure, and print them out. They're wrong. They never updated. I tried it because I got a couple wrong directions. I'm like, what is happening? So I filled out new directions for a place and turned it in. And then a couple weeks later, I just go in. I'm like, hey, I'm going to this place. Can I get directions? They print them out. They don't update it. I think the paper is just to amuse the drivers. Maybe they get a kick out of seeing who will actually fill them out. Oh, I can't believe Mark filled another one of these out. Maybe they have a bet. Oh, how many of these will get turned in this week that we can throw away? I don't know what they do with them, but they don't fill them out. It's so frustrating. When companies do that, they should fill that out. It just costs them money. Because if you get lost and are driving around, it's costing them fuel money. I'm not buying that fuel. But the people that have to change the directions don't care either. Before cell phones, I had an AT&T 800 number to call the house. We did that, Truckers Coach, for kids when the kids were home. Because they would all say, well, we didn't call because we didn't have any money. Because back then, payphones cost money. Well, so, Mark here got an 800 number for the house and gave it to him. And so it just rang the house, and they just billed me separately. And I said, no problem. Call from any phone, 800 number, anytime. You can always call. And so then they had no excuse not to call me. Here you go, 100 in 1980s, 321 today. There you go, Nevada. So that's without raises. If you're making 100, then you should be making 321 today with no raise. Without a raise. Really nice for going somewhere new. I know, it would be if they would use it here. So I like a guarantee. I don't care how long it takes to load or unload because you're going to get paid. You're getting your pay. So whether you're here, it's Smith with a 1800 or wherever it is with a guarantee, you know, if it takes longer, I'm still getting my money. This is not going to cut my money. Even if I lose my next load, it's not my problem. It's their problem. That makes your problem their problem, and that's how it has to work. That's why I was kind of sad this week that I had a truck problem on Friday because they weren't that interested in solving it because I couldn't make my problem their problem because the load I'm getting Friday night isn't due back till Monday, really. It doesn't have to leave till this morning. So they didn't care that much. I wish it was on a weekday like tonight. If I had a problem tonight, I'd have got another truck right away because they can't make me late because the load's got to leave in the morning. So I couldn't make my problem their problem, and so I got to sit there. I do get paid for it, but they don't care. The people paying you don't care. I don't like Tuesdays or bunkers. Tuesdays, TGI, a Tuesday, you get all sweaty and the gas is unbearable. I bought a house in 2013 for $47,000 and can now sell it for $75,000. All right, well, that's 9 years though. If you put $47,000 in the bank, how much money would you have today? Is my question. Unfortunately, when they both passed, I wasn't in financial enough opportunity to purchase it. So we did get it sold about 7 years ago, but it was to a family, a friend at least. Okay, well, that's good at least. I was just curious on what that kind of place, something big like that would be worth today. But, it's just land, so you can always get more of it. In 1975, Riv pimped out with 6,500. I love that, too. That was the PIM code for GM's full pimp mode on it for a Riv. With no, not in 75. The later ones, 80s, would have the touchscreen. The CRT touchscreen, I would drop my underpants for $1. Moving on was strange because Sonny and Will got involved in situations helping people. They never made money or delivered or picked up any freight. Isn't that amazing? But yet they had plenty of money to run the truck around and get monkey chow. Oh, that's right. They don't like to be called monkeys. Remember that from that movie? What I missed, Donkey Bite. I have no cruise control today. This is too much like work. Well, if it's because of the advanced driving assist on there, try pressing the cruise control button more than once. At least that's how it works on my truck. When the collision mitigation turns off the cruise control, if you press the cruise control a couple of times, it will ask you then if you want to go to manual mode, and it will let you do that. So try that. I still call 511 in the winter. Not every state runs that, though. Like, they don't have it here. Each state's different. Wyoming was always really good about it. When I started with JB Hunt, I made 16 cents a mile. Wow. I left in 03 and made 42 cents a mile. So you made 42 cents a mile in 03. That company I just did last week is advertising Detroit to Laredo for 43 cents a mile today. That's the problem. There's your problem. 18 years ago, you got a penny. That's the problem. I wish I didn't have internet some days. Yeah, sometimes it's overwhelming. That's true. Time to shut it off. Trainer at England basically roasted me and the other trainee like the old roller wieners. Really? Did you get a good one there, though, at least? Accountants are bean counters. Yeah, they don't have any idea what they're doing. They're there just to save money, but the people that below them don't care. I wonder if the international truck came in a female and male model. That's probably how the Transtar was born. Ha, that's very good. We can go back to our quote from Dan Crenshaw for that. I use Trucker Path. Trucker Path, yeah, for the road. Red or blue directions. Depends which way you're going. Our software is updated live and it's bunches of well-made maps. That would be great if companies do it. It just saves the company money to have a sheet for directions and then not change them. And then everybody that goes to a place gets lost because it's wrong. What does that cost over a year? It just doesn't make any sense to me why companies do that. And then they're like, well, we don't have any money for raises. Well, here's all the drivers would love to save time for themselves and save the company money, and you're not interested. Before cell phones, breakdowns were a problem. That is correct. We didn't have as many of them. But you could end up walking somewhere or have somebody stop. Sometimes somebody would stop. That happened more often than that. And you'd give them your information, and then when they stopped somewhere, they'd make a phone call for you. Hey, Mark, just jumped on ship doing reefer. Jumped ship Red Zeppelin. Went from 46 to 65 cents in 5 years. My dues have been paid. Oh, that's a nice raise, isn't it? That's going to be $400 a week, $500 a week right off the bat. Wow. That is a new and or slightly used car at the moment. You can see who makes the notes and maps. So we got an old timer who is the go-to for notes and another dude for his art skills. So they like hand draw a map. Oh, I see what you mean. He's not like drawing. It's like cartography. 64 and sunny near Boston. Well, that's going to change. If you saw the weather and did some trip planning, that will change. That is coming up soon. Your coworker that lives in the past, no cell phone and no computer, probably thinks you're too modern a guy for your own good. Oh, absolutely. Right. He's almost Amish. I'm surprised he drives to work. Super Luddite about that. Oh, well, this new stuff, you don't need any of this. And I asked him, do you have air conditioning? Well, air conditioning. Well, why? That's so, why do you have air conditioning? Shouldn't you just have a horse fart at you? That's only air conditioning we used to have years ago. Come on. In 1972, I can't take it. I made 10 cents a mile at Ferry Transport. What is Ferry Transport? So in 72, you made 10 cents. But you continued to get raises basically until the early 2000s. And then the money's basically stopped. This 93, which looks good, really isn't that much more than people made. Really, in relative terms. I went to Boston and I had a B what? It gets hot up there in the attic sometimes. My GPS had weather overlay and traffic if connected to my hotshot in the winter for road conditions. Right. They could. Sure, maps. And my mapping thing has overlays too. I have a radar for the weather like everybody does. You can overlay roads and all that stuff and road conditions. And that's great. That helps. I don't know why people don't want the new technology. I look at radar a lot in the winter. I've left the radar running. I'll take the map off and leave the radar running with a road overlay on it to see, especially for tornadoes. I do that more for tornadoes, to see where a tornado is coming across the road or whatever. Other truckers coach in the world where email and some sort of messaging is the preferred form of communications. The internet is a must, unfortunately. It is. It's just great to not have it on. Like, I don't have the phone on at night. If I'm sleeping, the sound on the phone is off. I don't get up at every time the phone makes a noise or rings or whatever to check it. I don't do that. B is really a beer. B, that'd be better. They're called the Amish, right? My trainer at England was a good trainer at an intense Jamaican guy, but very good trainer. He told us, you don't let the company bully us. Exactly. Never let them push you around when you're on, but you got to have your ducks in a row too. Be right. You got to be right on the facts. It's kind of like a court case, and have evidence, like a picture and a video of stuff, and don't let them push you around. I don't know what they think they're doing. Because believe me, the people telling you to do stuff have no idea what they're talking about. If you watch the episode, Sonny and Will did make money. There was one note he actually got $900 for. He seemed to pull the invoice out of his top shirt pocket. Oh, wait, $900. Of course, then that was good money then. Fuel bill was what, $80? When was the last time some stopped and asked you okay when you broke down? Oh, well, nobody does it now because I assume everybody has a phone. Or in most trucks, you can just type in on the screen and get somebody to come out to you. The show moving on used two different trucks, one for each season. The first, it was a 74 Kenworth with a 13 speed, and the second one, it was a 75 with a 10 speed. Oh, I'd rather have a 13 speed. Surprised they switched trucks. I didn't notice that. They just, Steel Horse, they just had a contest to update directions to our customers. They gave away 2 gas grills and 2 $50 gift cards, and they had 300 updates. So do they actually use the updates, though? That's the question. And I will tell you, I assume they're knowing them that they're actually going to use the updates because drivers would like it. I'd really like to have correct directions. I'd like to get there sooner, and the company saves money. So it just makes sense. For just what they paid for that, they're going to save thousands of dollars a year, and drivers will be happier. So I believe they're going to use them. It just, why have a piece of paper here if they're not going to do anything with it? I just won money in the trucking answers were the day I selected cartography. Right. That's true. Right. When I drove for Covenant Transport, disgruntled drivers would intentionally give the wrong directions to a shipper receiver. So what, they would put the wrong directions in to Covenant? Well, so at least Covenant is updating the directions. So, if you put the correct directions in, at least they'd update it. Here, you could put the wrong directions in, and they don't ever check or anything. I'm like your coworker. Kind of. You could be. Air conditioning used to be an old 260. 2 windows and 60. Right, and you were better off getting a Mac then, because Mac had the little kick panel by your left foot, which you could open up and get air that came in by your feet, too, at full blast speed. So you're better off with a Mac then. That is very true, though. I took a job in the Middle East, 2013 to, really? 2003 to 2015? Wow. I looked into that. I never did it, but it seemed interesting. Amish equals Amtrak. Do they have the money for Amtrak? Or do they just go coach? Amtrak on coach is pretty cheap, just a seat. How does a gut with no cell phone, the gut, he is going to have a gut, or internet being anti-tech do with the ELD? Oh, believe me, when we went ELDs, which we've had them for a while, long before the thing here, the mandate of ELDs, oh my God. We had classes, and then he had tons of questions, and every time I come in, I'm like, oh my God, is he here? Because there's going to be more questions. And he's still, as we change ELD, so it gets upgraded. Now we use a tablet in the truck. So that was a huge problem. If he messes it up at all, he doesn't know how to edit it or anything. Yeah, it's a real problem. No, he doesn't do paper logs. He can't do paper logs. We're ELD, so he has to run an ELD. But it's a real problem, and I don't understand it. It's not a complicated thing, really. We're all willing to help him, but he just doesn't want to learn it. He's like, I don't need to know any of this, or what. You do need to know how to edit this, because if it isn't correct, you can just fix it yourself. My daughter still uses GPS to get to my house after 8 years, and she's 9 miles away. I have it on just for traffic all the time in the truck, and I put the one on the Escape has serious traffic. So I always have traffic running in there too. So I'm with her. What about the weather band? Yeah, radios used to have a weather band in them. So they don't anymore. Most CBs have it, and your ham radios have it. So absolutely, you should have a weather band. If your radio doesn't have it, some do. This truck I have, or at least I had Friday, does have it. So get it in your CB. For whether you use your 4Flight app, you get your own special app for that. And your weather's probably better than most weathers. My wife uses GPS in her hometown. We have been here 6 years. Look, I keep it on for traffic. I will say, I just hit the thing so traffic comes up to see if I should go a different way to Meyer or whatever. So, yeah. 3-bunk truck and everyone has funky feet. Always keep your feet dry. That's number one key to everything. Keep your feet dry. And I use baby powder for that. I don't know if that's a secret, just me or whatever, but I squirt baby powder in my shoes constantly, and my feet are dry and smell like a baby's bottom. So, and if you ever see me, you're welcome to smell my feet. They're delicious smelling. Too many young hands today don't even know do it like Sonny Pruitt would do it came from. That's true. That's probably still available on YouTube. And that guy made more than many drivers make today in relative money. Aviator truck, you're very observant. On the in-cab shot, Sonny and Will were trained drivers and held their California 101 commercial license back in the day. Was it a commercial license? Because I started out on a Class D Illinois license. They had different classes in Illinois. And so it was D was the license that I got to start driving. And I got grandfathered into all the CDL nonsense as that came up. I just want to stay off and listen to you, Mark, and you always made me laugh. Thank you, JP. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. That's one anyway. So, look, I appreciate everybody being here, believe me, and on the podcast and everywhere else. My radio and my 2021 still has weather band. Yeah, I get in different ones lately, and some seem to have it and some don't. I think they all should have it. I think cars should have it too. I don't know why they don't have it in there. But get a CB with weather band on it. Like I have that Night Watch Weather CB. It's got weather band and it lights up at night. Cobra 29. Get a weather band in case you need to turn on. Some people are still afraid to learn how to use new technology. I just don't understand it. And he does have an old car too. Not like super old, like, late 80s, early 90s. Thinking about, what is it, an old Malibu or whatever that he comes in. But yeah, I don't get it. The technology, it'll set you free. Baby powder and extra socks is needed with winter coming up. Always. You should always have dry clothes to change into, even if you're home every day. Have a change of clothes, dry socks, baby powder, salt. Baby powder causes cancer. It depends where you put it, apparently. I don't think it causes cancer on your feet. They did say that some people using it put it somewhere, but I use it on my feet. So my feet will destroy 3 men in a truck. We don't want that. You want to keep your feet dry, right? Because you don't want your feet rotting out. In your shoes or whatever with wet socks, your feet get terrible. Always carry extra stuff with you. Keep your feet. It's the most important thing. Dry feet. Got to keep your feet dry. If they don't work for you, you got problems. Kelter travels fleet name carriers that will train new CDLs who have an incident on their very first load and then fired for begging for more training. Who knew 1 week over the road for 2 trainees and 1. Saying that's a problem. You'd have to tell me what kind of incident, that kind of, it depends. What is that company going to say, where you had that incident? They make it out of a different stuff nowadays. It's safer. I think on your feet it's pretty safe. You're not absorbing it. It's in my shoes and then my socks are in there. There were some people that were using baby powder in a way that it wasn't meant to be used for and we're getting some kind of cancer. Everything causes cancer, especially in California. Yeah, we use the 49 state baby powder. No money for races, but $7,800 if you get the vaccine. Isn't that something? I just haven't seen that. Would that motivate anybody? Anybody that has not had the vaccine and is not going to get it. If they said, look, if you get it, we'll put $7,800 on your next check. Would that get you to get the vaccine? Would that move you $7,800? That's a used 2014 Ford Fiesta with transmission troubles. So not bad. Where do you work? Well, it's good that I don't get that question much. I try to keep them out of my videos, and then because I couldn't roast them as much, but also because, look, then they can tell you what to say, and that isn't any good. So, and I also don't recruit for them because I always thought, they should go get their own drivers if they need drivers. So that's how we keep that all out of everything. Instructors who kept their nose in the phone, Kelter should travel. No, he should be instructing. He can't be, unless he's looking something up, a question that you had, and he doesn't really know the answer to it, then maybe, But otherwise, no way. He should be up training. He's working. In Michigan, it was a Class 2 chauffeur license. Yeah, the other trucker. Each state had their own system. So at that point, I lived in Illinois, and it was a Class D license. You got your D license. You're like, oh, sweet. Back in the day, it was a Class 1, 2, or 3. Depends on where you were. Don't be snorting baby powder. Correct. Not for internal use. You know anything on the Wilson Logistics being bought? Yes. We did talk about that Friday, I think, on the podcast. Ashley Logistics, which is what runs Ashley Furniture Division, also bought Wilson Logistics. Can you believe that? So they're run by ADS, Ashley Distribution Services, right, which is part of Ashley Furniture, and now they own Wilson Logistics, which they said Wilson Logistics based in Springfield, Missouri, because we know like they're part of Prime or whatever. So they bought Wilson Logistics. I was really surprised about that. Talc has asbestos in it. Well, that means my feet will not catch on fire. People don't know this. Growing up, my grandmother had asbestos drapes. Does everybody remember those? Okay, the drapes on the windows were made out of asbestos. When you would shake them to get the dust off them, because we'd have to take them outside and whack them and dust them. She had these big wacky things. they were just looked like a big flower. You'd whack them. Fibers flew off of them. That's asbestos. Okay, so that is a true story. Asbestos drapes. They kept the heat out really good. That's true. She probably had lead paint too. Turns out though, I was smart enough to not actually eat paint. So, Robbie Melton, are they ever going to finish the construction on Indianapolis? Fall of 2023. Fall of 2023. And now they just said coming up, they're going to be doing construction near the I-69 interchange on the north side. North side. So they're going to be down a couple lanes there too. So you have to go around the bypass, and they're going to do construction there. What is the Canadian truck company having in it? Having that light in the center of the trailer. That with a blue light? Oh yeah, I see those around. I can't think of the name of that company. Remember, will you accept a collect call from It's a Boy? No. That I don't remember. According to a poll conducted by Truckers Report, the worst trucking companies to work for. Really? Swift, England, Werner, JB Hunt, Covenant, and Prime. Really? Who'd they ask, though? Do they ask drivers, or what are they asking about? Because I will say Swift is really trying to change its ways. Companies have millions for everything except for pay. Exactly. They just announced, and an astute viewer sent this to me, that their hourly rate is down because they're paying drivers less. So that is from the ATRI that surveyed companies. So because there's less in the compensation pack to drivers, their hourly rate for their trucks is lower. All their other costs are up except driver costs, and that's what companies say. The vaccine only brought 1 year. We don't know what the outcome is going to be. That's true. There'll be a new variant every time people stop complying. I now have an AM license. I can only drive in the morning. Sorry, mornings only. A Starbucks license. When I left the Middle East, bought a P389 and reefer, I just couldn't go back to JB Hunt. I think once you're in a place like the Middle East or whatever, you're going to come back and be an owner-operator. You're like, I'm not taking any crap from anybody. Pretty much, right? Would never do that. I will not be bought in to take something. Okay, so 7,800 is still not enough. I think that would motivate some people. I do think so. When the cop cars, I mean, that's a used that's a used Honda Civic that's 12 years old. Remember when the cops actually had the bubble gum lights and they weren't just that great? They looked like they were mounted on a roof rack. Yeah, roof rack. They used to have a gigantic light in the center of the top of the car and a siren next to it. We got to work somewhere. You do, but it should be better than otherwheres. You want to know how COVID-19 ended up? Watching the movie Songbird. Watch the movie Terminator. Back in my day, it was a chauffeur's license. See, each state different. D, and then when CDL comes out, you could just go down and switch it. You had until a certain date to switch it, and I'm like, I'm in. I'm switching over. Nevada, no, for 7,800. Okay, if I was a trainer, I would be playing Yugo dueling while training. Okay. Look, that's better than looking at your phone. Remember bingo cards? Oh, sure, I had trucks with bingo cards. I was in the bingo card era. You had to make sure every month you'd have to go check and see which state had to be updated. Yeah. Take care of your feet. Yes, that is number one. That is really important. People don't put enough emphasis on that. Dry. Keep them dry so that they're always ready to go. That's a no. Danny says a no. Really? 7,800? Oh, I thought somebody would go for it, really. Because now they're 50 or 100, you're like, but 7,800, that's a lot of money. So even with taxes or whatever, you're probably looking at 5,000 net. And maybe up there, who knows if they exempt the 7,800, but even so, 5,000 net added to your check, that's not bad. You got to play Pokemon so you could pull over. Got one right here. You see drivers with shower shoes and corn toes walking around the truck stop. Yikes. Shower shoes. I was thinking going over the road with CFI. What's your opinion on them for a starter company? Well, you got to start someplace. That's and they just bought D&D Sexton. How about that? So they're growing too. D&D Sexton bought by CFI. That would give more options on things to do there. They made everything out of it. It's a common item found around the world. It goes back 4,000 years. Exactly. We had drapes that were made out of asbestos fibers. And it kept the heat out. And they weighed like 50 pounds, it seemed like. I was a little kid. And she'd have me take them out. And then she'd hang them on the clotheslines in the back because you used to dry your clothes out there. And she had this big beater stick, which looked like a big flower. It was made out of bamboo, I think, on the end of a stick. And you just beat the dust out of the drape and she'd hang them back up. She lived a healthy 50-some years smoking those Lucky Strikes. Asbestos drapes and old fiberglass curtain rod. Oh, I couldn't get to the curtain rod. I was too small. I like Swift. I think Swift is not a bad place to start. I just had somebody else write to me about it and checked into it, and they're going to go there with their spouse to Swift to team at, like 65 cents to start with no experience. And I don't think that's terrible. I really don't. Kelly plays Pokemon Go once in a while. I do see people messing around with it. How does Prime get their best fleet to drive for? Because they interview Prime drivers. Where do you think? And they probably interview them right in front of the president of the company. Where do you think the best place to work is? They're like, right here. Okay, next. CFI still has serious issues with their ELD system. Only a matter of time the DOT comes down on them, really. I never heard any problems about that there. CDL drivers got grandfathered into Uber drivers. I'm still a driver for Uber. Oh, Gully, right. That's right. Gully Transport. How'd you make $100,000 in the 70s? That's true. Everyone's saying there's cents per mile. We're teens. If you're making 20 cents running 700 miles a day, that's 52,000. Many drivers were paid hourly. And all your other time was paid too. So there was a lot of other extra pay then. In New Jersey, it was called an articulated license. Oh, did it come in 2 parts? Ha, very clever. I just wonder about that. Back then, you could have multiple licenses. Always keeping your home state license that was on file with the company clean. Oh, sure, you had a license for every state. Now they always ask you, do you have a license in any other state? I'm like, don't you know? Aren't there computers here? They're like, no, they're run by that guy that works with you. He doesn't like computers. At Sierra England, $7,800 is 6 months of training pay. Oh, see, now that's something. It depends how much you need the money, too. And that's not the way to get people to do something, because people are desperate for money. You're like, if you'll do this, I'll give you that. And that's no way to do it. You're basically forcing people into it. T-Force. Oh, T-Force, right. That's true. If you're driving a truck and are not making $1,500 a week, at least you need a job. You should look in, certainly with experience, you can get that almost anywhere. Our ceiling insulation was beat of asbestos. That's true. Insulation was all asbestos as well. But these were just drapes hanging in the room where little fibers would fly off every once in a while. You get all sticky with them and stuff, scratchy. I haven't talked to a lot of Prime drivers. Do they hate it? You don't see that many Prime company drivers. They get forced into, and I get these letters all the time, where they come out of training and then Prime only has lease trucks available. They don't have a truck for you to be a company driver. They'll say, well, it'll be 3 weeks, or 2 months or whatever, or you can lease a truck today. So that's how they kind of get people into it, I think. Stuck here in Wisconsin with a light load and 40-mile-an-hour winds. Jonathan, I'm going even empty today. 40-mile-an-hour winds is not going to stop me. I don't know if I'm empty or not till I show up, but I'll drive down there at 40. I start getting nervous in the high 40s to 50 starts to make me nervous. So I think 40, you're okay. But it's certainly up to you. All right, if you don't think it's safe, don't drive. That should be the driver is certainly the final say on what's safe about anything. If the one in the truck says it's unsafe, park. But I'm going today. 40, I'm going. You should compare Ruan and Rail, both good companies. Yeah, each one does a totally different thing, though. Like Ruan, I know a driver that drives for Ruan in Fair Oaks, Indiana, up at the milk farm up there. Those drivers are home every day, and he gets paid for all of his time, and he just drops and hooks milk loads all day. So that's not a bad job. But they do different stuff all over the place. Most Prime drivers are getting sucked into leasing, getting starved out. That's true. They have you pay for the truck for a while and then move on. You don't see too many that complete it. Some do. But like at Vegas, some people win big too. They always got to have a few winners, and it suckers everybody else into playing. So you got to only play with money that you could lose. Paladin, 50 is your limit. I know. Start at 50, then I start thinking, okay, if I'm not heavy, I'm not going. I'm absolutely not going. Another reason to check the weather before you leave, which I saw this morning, that here we had a wind advisory, but it was supposed to die down by about 5 p.m. So I'll check later and make sure that we're okay. But as long as it's not going past, about 40-ish, which is what they're talking here, I'm in. I'm okay with it. Lead-based paint tastes the best. That's why we're eating it. The red, I love the reds. The reds are so vibrant and tasty. Now kids got to only eat Tide Pods. You got to go steal them out of the laundry room. Here, we could get paint from all over the house. Every window still had tons of lead paint on it that we could just eat. It was just flaking off. Then go whack a drape and get some asbestos and eat all that. Oh my gosh. How do we make it through then? I'm surprised there are any people today that we even live through it, to even get to this point in our lives, to be honest with you. I want to tell you this. If you wear it, you should make it a parrot. Okay, always wear something on your head, even over a hat. You can hear that parrot even over a hat because it's such a great headset. I don't know if that's true. I hope you can. Million miler, right. Yeah, down at the manhole. Leasing a truck from a company is a bad deal for the driver. Yeah, it's always good for the company. Always, if you want to lease onto a company, buy a truck and put it on there and own the asset. Because if it turns into Falcon, you lose your truck. So we don't want that. And if it's just a horrible place to work later, you can leave with your truck. Don't let them starve you out. Only lease anyone should even consider as a walkaway. Only get a walkaway lease, but not from a carrier. Because you still don't want to walk away. Because you're just leaving the truck. Take the truck with you. Buy it from a bank. Lease it from somewhere if you got to. And put the truck on. And then you can just tell them, I'm out of here. Drive to your next company and start making money again. $1,500 a week is good to start. But if you don't have experience and you're just out of trucking school, how much should you make? You only made 39 cents 4 years ago. Well, so you should be making in the 60s now. I think a good start for a trainee is $1,000. I think we could certainly think that somebody should make $1,000. Certainly after training, start making $1,000 a week, and then goes up pretty quickly. And after your year, you can just quit and go somewhere else if you're not making enough money. At Smith, you need a year experience. Yeah, but then you're going to get this, right? After a year, you can go to $93,000 in 1 year. Okay. Still think it's not enough. The best place to work is one that has a schedule 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. with an hour for lunch. That's even better. Parrots are loud and noisy creatures. Imagine when you strap them on your head. They really don't like it. They don't like it at all. But you can hear them over your truck engine. And that's the good thing. That's the best part of it. I do have to head out. JJ was first today. George H.W. Bush was first today. JJ was first the other day. I appreciate it being here. Al Johns was here today, which I appreciate. Ex-wives are loud and noisy creatures. Yikes. I don't know anything about that. Just a one. Just keeping the one. Till death. Death. We'll be here till death. John Zayblack was here. Boy, I'm never going to get that. Paladin. Right, and I'm with you on that. Thanks for being here today. George Wilson was here today. Jonathan Diaz. Kelly was here today. Thank you for being here. Keltarus Who Travels. People should check out, by the way, 18-Wheel Chef, okay, for some good ideas for cooking in the truck. Michael Swift was here today. The other truckers coach, Tom Lehman, was here. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Aviator Trucker, it's good to see you. Joan Harper, thank you for being here. We'll talk. I think we're on to something. JP was here today. Let's see. John Kirkpatrick was here today. All right, so that's pretty awesome. Dave Johnson was here. Brother to Don Johnson, famous actor. Appreciate it. Todd Heifel was here today. Well, Doggies was here today. Tommy Cash was here today. Let's see. So I have to take off out of here as it is. Anyways, Worms Pride was here today. Let me see where this thing go. Oh, right there. Right. And so we're going to head on out of here and see how the winds are, because I did see that it was pretty windy today. If you think it's unsafe, stop driving. Okay, don't take my word for it. If you think it's unsafe, stop. I would never give anybody any grief for that, because you are the final determiner in that truck, in that spot. Don't let some company push you around for the wind or really anything else, all right? Only do what's safe. Look, if that truck turns over or something, you know what they're going to say? What are you doing driving in the wind? What are you doing? You know it, and I know it. So be safe out there, and we will see you on the next